The time has come to unite the world under one nation, an 8-bit nation, a neon green nation, the CoCo Nation. The CoCo Nation Show, coming soon.
The CoCo Nation Show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCo Nation Show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCo Nation.
Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCo Nation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CoCo Nation Show, episode 343. And if you're on Facebook, please wave. Let us know it's out there.
Howdy, howdy.
How's everybody doing today?
Yay! Awake.
It's CoCo Christmas season.
Well, that's true. In fact, programming note, next weekend we are taking holiday, so we will not be broadcasting a show.
We are still doing the Game On Challenge, though, I believe, on Thursday?
No.
Or is that off too?
I think that's off as well. Is that right, Ken?
I don't know,
Ken,
Sloopy,
Sloopy?
is that off? I was going to ask you about that, Sloopy. Are we doing the live Game On Challenge this week?
Where is Sloopy?
Let's see here. I'm right here. He's hanging
There
on.
you are.
Or shall we just skip it
There
to
you
next
are,
week?
right next to me.
That's the 21st. You think we should have it?
Or we could just, because the games are carrying over for the extra weeks, so we can take that week off and just have the week for the two games that are going to be going as of today next week.
Next week
Yeah.
is festive.
You could do that, or you could have it as this is the one thing that will be that week for the CoCo Nation, that one show. So, up to you guys.
All right. Well,
No
how
pressure.
about we do this?
Log in and see if anyone's there.
Yeah.
This week we will not have it, but the following week we will have it, but it will be more of a open games night. Anything on the CoCo you can play.
Who scripts it?
Don't we do
28.
that already?
Refax.
Yeah, on the 28th,
WEFAX.
we'll just
Everybody
do,
drink.
just come and play. It doesn't matter what game. You don't have to play the game on. We won't even recommend it. We'll recommend you play any game on the CoCo.
Ooh, I'm going to play a text adventure because that makes for good TV.
Exciting video, yes.
Just remember, Mike's coming on, I think. Well, that would be on the Saturday show, I guess. But he might come back on to the challenge. So
Yeah,
make
he
sure
might
we
come
let him
on.
know.
I'm sure some people will play that game too.
Dallas Quest, Ken.
So what it really is going to be is people showing off what they got for Christmas.
Right.
My
Yeah.
two front teeth.
Makes sense.
I thought
Uh,
you could do it. It was going to be David
Dallas
Ladd's
Quest
Diet
Speed
Dr.
Run.
Pepper Adventure.
Okay.
Somebody's
so-
got to make that game, the David Ladd Diet Dr. Pepper Adventure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You could just reskin a Pac-Man game.
So
No.
just to summarize,
Predator.
no on the 21st, yes on the 28th.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
But if you want to drop by
introduce
in
myself.
Discord and play games together on the
Yeah.
21st, then feel free
Yes.
to, because we just won't be broadcasting.
Well, if there's enough people there, then I guess we'll just do an impromptu show.
Someone might sneak in and just throw the switch on, and so be careful if you're there and think you're alone.
Yeah, on the 26th, I'll be there, and whoever's there, if there's more than like one or two people there, then we'll throw the switch and push the button and send it out
So there's no official game.
and see what sticks to the wall.
Yeah. It's kind of in that gray area where it's close enough to Christmas holidays. Some people might have already left to go visit family and stuff. And so we have no idea how many people are going to be there. So we'll play it by ear.
Okay. Well,
Right, so
now
it gives us a break since we do
No
this every
planning
week.
whatsoever.
so now let's go ahead and continue with the start of the show.
Welcome
Who
to
is
the live
and is
planning
not
session.
planning?
Go ahead,
Since
Mark
now-
B.
Since now we just did our pre-show stuff.
Uh,
Let's see. In the upper left-hand corner, we got Marco.
hey, glad to be here.
And next over, oh, there's where Sloopy is.
Greetings.
Hiding up there.
And next box over is yours truly, the button pusher. And then we got Ron Delvo.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to get the Flex Facebook group removed so that I could own it.
Okay.
He missed
Just
one.
kidding. Just kidding.
So that you can what?
Own it.
He owns every other CoCo group pretty well, so how did that one
There you
slip
go.
through his fingers? I guess.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's see. Next row, we got Ken Waters.
Oh, hi.
I'm going to call him
And-
Festive Ken from now on.
And then we got Rick Euland.
Ignoring all the obvious jokes. Hi, folks.
All right. Next over, we got Henry Gerhard.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the CoCo Nation.
Oh.
That's
we
way
hire
too
him for
much
promos?
energy for this show.
Wow.
Checks in the mail, Henry.
Or
Checks
coffee
in the
or
mail.
something.
Good morning, everybody.
I'm sorry, only David Ladd is allowed to have that much
Energetic
energy.
in this place.
Oh, we've got
Throw in your
company.
monster drink.
Good.
Okay. Bob Emery, you're up next.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Okay.
CoCo Nation.
And next row, we got L Curtis Boyle.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Okay. And then we got Kevin Holloway.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
And next over, we have David Ladd.
Cover your ears.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I
We
hope
heard you.
you're ready for this eventful show. We're waiting for all the fun stuff to happen, and I've got my 64-ounce Buc-ee's cup filled with Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm all ready.
Well, rumor has it you're the one who made off with that 10 grand worth of syrup. Or was that 100 grand worth of syrup?
It was 100, wasn't it?
Okay, next over we got Alan.
Hey, Dave, I need to know how much of the rum ended up in the Buc-ee's cup. Can you add some more?
Are you sure you want that to happen?
Yes.
Ice water with rum.
Live and on the stream. Oh yeah.
And
Buddy.
see, you got to be careful with that because then he'll wind up singing he's got a lovely bunch of coconuts and here we are standing in a
Oh,
row.
it's worse than that.
Right.
We've got a big hook.
We still need to have that David Ladd New Year's special.
Yeah, he'll be singing a lovely bunch of disc drives is what he'll be singing. So,
All right, bottom row we have Nick Marentes.
Good day, everyone, and apologies in advance for anyone watching.
This show's
Yes, sir.
already
Well spoken.
Nick,
we've
are you
already
saying
gone
that
off the
because-
rails.
Did you already watch the show since you're in tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a bad show.
yeah, it's a train wreck.
Oh,
Okay.
darn.
Thanks.
And last but not least, Jason.
Why, hello, everyone. And just a reminder, a week from today is Festivus, so get your aluminum poles out and don't decorate them.
That's why we don't have a show next week. It's Festivus.
Yes, and
Exactly.
we don't want to have airing of the grievances or
Yes,
feats
we
of
do.
strength. Well, we can air them on Discord then.
Where's
Okay.
a cat? Where's a cat when you need one?
Ooh.
I want to point something out if I could. Mark, can you highlight Ken?
Okay.
He smiles.
That was a good nervous smile there, kid.
Right?
Love that hat.
I love that shirt, and it goes well with that toque.
Right,
doesn't.
right. Yeah, David Krager says, nice toque.
I just want to make sure everyone sees it because it looks just lovely. You accessorize well.
I'm sorry I
genuine?
complained about the pleasant green of last week. I
Is that antelope
apologize.
on there?
So I'm just kind of wondering, are you missing a cat now, or is that a from outside?
He got it from a cat.
Yeah, is that real fur on your toque?
It's it's genuine Saskatchewan sealskin.
Oh,
Are you sure it's not
Nanook?
domestic?
Just like Super Dave.
It's fun. It's not fine Corinthian leather then.
Near the yellow snow.
Oh,
Boy, we are off the
Oh, wait,
rails
it's
already,
lemon.
aren't we?
Yeah,
Lemon.
Yes, this is going terrific.
I think everybody dipped into the Christmas run a little early here.
Someone,
so
I
much
think
for the
someone has
script.
gotten into the special eggnog already.
Someone brought up Nanook of the
Oh.
North.
Mark B, quick, take control.
all right.
Too late.
Project updates. Rick, you're up.
Oh, okay. Well, something works. So Let's see. Can I hit the right button? Is that the button?
Where's
Can
Rick's
you highlight
hat?
Mark? There's the button.
Hang on, too many buttons at once here. There we go.
So the CoCoIO thing I've been working on with the boot ROM or boot EEPROM. You'll note a remarkable absence of BODS wires, and it's working. So this is my project update. It's done.
Where's my mouse interface?
You can write from it. Well, that comes next. I had to get this one going first, but you'll notice a little bit of space up here in the corner where I could scoot this over, and then we got some blank area.
All right.
So we need to talk about how to fit that in there. But so anyway,
And your backup real-time clock chip just in case the net goes down.
no, you're just going to have to. If the net's down, you can't do anything. How can you operate without a network?
Because I could still run locally with the real-time clock.
Well,
The CoCo games are going to go online only.
Yeah, Mark Siegel and Pedro Pena have a real-time clock that would be compatible with this. We're good.
A lot of people do. And in fact, the whole reason for this read-write jumper here is because if you have a smartwatch or something and you're running it, it could write to the ROM area. So you have to switch to read-only if you're doing something here and it's important to you and you're also running OS9 in a smartwatch. So I think
we've added a read-only switch.
Yes. So that's pretty much necessary because of these exceptions that we found the last couple of whatevers. So yeah, you put it in write and you don't run OS9 with your smartwatch until you put it back in read only again, and then you can boot from it. I'm sure, well, there's no software yet, but I'm sure it's coming quickly. And in fact, 3D printer is making cases as we speak because that's the slowest part of the process.
So you just need to call it a write protect switch.
Well, yeah, basically.
Fits right in.
Yeah.
Well, we have read only and read write because a lot of the time you can just run in read write mode all the time, except for a few special exceptions.
So you're saying that jumpers that whole unit there that's what it's all a boot.
Oh, what it's a boot. And if the first two ASCII characters in your ROM are DK, then it will be loaded as a disk extension.
Oh, I thought it might load Donkey Kong.
Well, I don't know why, but DK does not mean Donkey Kong. It means disk. And it's plopped on. Yeah. So
this is a CoCoIO.
Yeah, your CoCoIOR this time because it has RAM or ROM or whatever you want to call that.
Revision.
So this will be the original one will always be the cheapest one. This one will be, I'll probably sell it without the socket and EEPROM as a cheaper version. But anyway, another step. And then from here, it's going to get more complicated. I'll probably put in a bank switch and 4 and the PS2 interface, and that will be a step up. But I think the cheap one is done now. It can have
Don't forget a
ROM
blinking light.
They blink. There's 2 blinking lights on the socket here. You get a carrier light and an activity light.
Perfect.
So what you're saying, Rick, is this part is done, and now you have to work on the feature creep.
Yeah, the feature creep edition comes up next.
Why have 2 when you can have 4?
Well, right, you can at least have 2. Here's the address jumper, so you can have the one at 6.8 and one at 7.8.
So, Rick, it still needs a real-time clock, and I'll tell you why. So that the CoCo can become the NTP server.
Oh, Jesus.
Client.
There you go.
Well, you don't run a local clock then. You need to connect.
Nope. That's it. You need a 24-channel GPS receiver.
So we can get the time off the GPS.
Yeah.
Well, and then we're going to need for you to give us your time, your
here's
latency so we can do the correction.
And here's the icing. It needs to be the standard Motorola made real-time clock chip that became used for the PC standard time in the CMOS and stuff. So we need a Motorola RTC with the 24-channel GPS receiver with, anyway, stop.
I'm going to need a bigger gal.
And you run it on a CoCo 1 so that you can name the machine Father Time.
I like it.
What about putting a USB on there? Like you can buy these little USB to serial tiny boards. having that on there so you can use either a USB mouse or.
Well, like I said, we're kind of coming into the feature creep zone, so that's why
coming
I'm.
into it. I think we've landed and like gone to the hangar.
We're in the
You
quicksand. We're in the quicksand.
creep zone.
So if you have financing, you could make it so that you'd have to get a fob to make this work, right?
My financing is someone buy one of these. So
Has a fob. Does it have a remote starter?
right. Oh.
Remote start CoCo. That's
There you go.
genius.
But we have the majority of what's needed for a PS2 interface, and I think the board space to do it. So that's probably an obvious thing to look at. Then we've got
Down the road, if you sell a bunch of these, you're going to use gold contacts in the future.
I don't know. It's
he's
it's
going to
not-
keep the gold,
not-
Ron.
Not on our budget.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The idea is to make them cheap and sellable, and if it only works for 10 years at this point, that's probably
So
pretty
he give
good.
you a complimentary eraser with it so you can clean the pins off.
Yeah, there you go. And you just clean it with your pink gummy thing, and it's good for a
That's an
little.
upsell. The
I
cleaning
thought
kit.
you used the white side for that.
Or the other alternative was
Right.
is coat those contacts and deox it. Then you will
Yeah,
be
spritz
fine.
it. Well, it's solder. You can fix
Just
solder.
put WD-40 on it and they won't corrode.
Because it's all hobbyist now. No one is buying this as a consumer product. So,
Do you have any
I'm
bodge
not-
ones left?
excuse me.
Do you have any bodge ones left?
Well, the prototype. Well, I send it. I have one that works now, without any issues. I mean, you should see it. It's nasty. I've got wires picking up vertically off of the gimme so that they don't short to each other. And if you squashed it, they would all squash flat, and that would destroy it. So
You need a
It's-
special edition, bodge wire edition.
yeah, the bodge wire edition. I could ship. I could like conformally coat the bottom so that they all work and sell them as curiosities for extra money.
Or you could sell it as a kit and just include all the wires and let them do it in themselves.
Oh yeah, I've got some bare boards. I'll give you one. You can figure out how to fix it. It'll be the ultimate challenge.
Okay. Let's see. Coconut Bob, who has stepped away from his computer. Moving right along.
This show is just going so smoothly.
Right.
Right.
I do have one quick update myself. I've just started working this past week on starting to amalgamate all the things I want to put into EOU 1.0.1. So I just started in the 609 version. So I'm going through testing and stuff. I've got to incorporate stuff that Fred did and a few others over the last few months. So I don't have a firm date on it getting released, but I hope to have it out by the end of the year, early January.
I'm going to predict 2027.
That'll be 1.1, not
So you're
1.0.1.
calling it EOU what version?
1.0.1. It's mostly bug fixes, a few more optimizations, and a few more software installs.
And a lot
Here he
more
is.
documentation.
Yeah, and some more documentation. I wouldn't go to a lot yet. The parts of the manual we're on right now are huge.
Bob is back.
I'm back.
Bob,
Hello.
you missed your cue.
All right.
What about Bob?
You'll have to come back next week.
Yeah. Sorry, you lose a turn.
Right. So I just spent a few minutes soldering on the gimme board here just to replace this busted capacitor that was damaged in shipping. Hang on.
There you
Actually,
go.
let me switch cameras.
Up and
Let's see
up,
here.
up.
So
Up. Whoa.
Yeah.
no,
There's your hand.
one little
pieces
surface
parts.
mount capacitor there.
So how did
But,
you find out that that was it?
Well, this wasn't actually damaged beyond function. The capacitor still worked. I just finally bought one and replaced it, which I almost lost because I dropped it on the floor here.
Well, do you have a 70s shag?
No, it's actually a wood floor, but somehow stuff.
Yeah, you can lose surface of wood, right?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
So
lose whole
Bob, for what
dip
you're
chips.
showing here, which camera do you need? Because this one is really blurry at the moment.
Yeah, this one's not working.
It's because it's focused on the whatever table he's got over there.
Mm-hmm.
There
Right.
you go.
All right, well, that's-
Could be
This
like mine,
segment
could be
brought to you in
manual focus.
blurry vision.
and then actually, this is not even what I wanted to show right now. the Gimme X machine.
Yeah, it's
and
still
move out
blurry.
of the way.
Oh, wait, there it goes.
There it goes.
Now you move what it's
Try.
focusing on, so it'll get confused again.
So, Bob, if you have a few of these CoCos, do you write on the back of them what you've done to them to keep in your mind which one's which?
Sort of.
I hope so.
I guess you can see this one. I got the next Athena board from
That's a
Rocky
heck of a
Hill,
case.
and
parts.
I'm gonna build it into this case. I'm pretty sure. No.
Cool.
So what has
It's
changed
not
on this
actually a
version of the
bad
board
idea.
from the previous one you did, Bob?
So this board, he has basically went through trace by trace and tried to match it to how Tandy's board is routed. So
Was that for
first one
timing
I
or
built-
just to be,
I'm
representative
not
of the
sure.
original Tandy design?
I'm kind of thinking that the timing might be a factor as to why the whiteboard doesn't work with the Gimme X.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because all those little traces count, even though we pretend like they don't at 2 megahertz, they do make a difference.
Yeah, right. So
It adds up.
I don't know. I'm thinking before I do a whole bunch on that one, I might build this up and see if it works on this board.
Sweet.
Yeah, because if it does, that would prove that you're right, that the trace
Right,
is
because
being
you
a little
have
bit
the
different
before
timing
and the
wise.
after. Perfect.
Mhm. And then if you notice on this board, the one thing that I got my little 5-cent feature creep in there, he's left this little bare patch of solder masks so that it'll be easier for me to solder an HDMI header onto this board. Basically,
POB
nothing
jumper.
really changed.
Yeah. Nice.
A free feature creep is the best, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if the people over at JBL,
Yeah.
JLB.
yeah, the
JLB
JLB,
PCB.
they look at this stuff and say, "What in the world are they doing?"
What are these crazy fools up to? Right?
I got one other thing here that I don't know if you guys have seen the daiquiri board before, but that's the replacement for the DAC chip that Rocky built. And I had this one on the white Athena board, and we were doing some testing on calibrating the joysticks, and I fried the LM393 comparator.
Did
So
it
I
make
actually
smoke or
replaced
was it just uneventful?
No, it just quit working. Like everything was just reading zeros. All the joystick pots.
It's amazing you can find out which one you did. You had error.
Yeah. Well, just kind of tracing the signal through the board, it looked like the that LM393 was bad. And it is a surface mount, super tiny surface mount chip, but it's small enough that it's not really much harder than replacing a surface mount capacitor. Just kind of be careful with the traces shorting out. Got another LED board put together. Got a few of these now. I'm gonna actually start putting some kits together and sending out to a few people. And then, oh yeah, now that I've repaired this, I need to put it in my board and actually see if it works again. So I think for the rest of the show, I'm actually going to start soldering the sockets onto this. So for now, you guys can carry on with the show without me. I'll be listening, of course.
So
Okay.
So you got at least 4 hours.
We're going to time you. Got to show us at the end.
Okay.
So why wouldn't you want to make it just like the original and have no sockets except for the CPU and whatever else is?
Some of the chips I might, consider that, but generally, obviously the RAM chips, you'd want those in sockets.
No real reason
it's
not
one of
to,
those
right?
things. The first time you build one, you want sockets, and then after you get more confident, then you can go without sockets, maybe.
Because getting back to the timing, if every single pin grows by a millimeter, that doesn't change anything.
Right.
So socket away, right? And then the rare chips, well, you can change them and not endanger them.
Well, that's kind of how Tandy did it. The earlier machines were all socketed, and as time went along, get less and less sockets in them.
Well, right, and then they had to sell it for $159 too. So
Sockets are expensive.
Get rid of 20 sockets. Hey,
that brings us back to why did Tandy do that? We already know why.
So you would buy it from them, right?
It was cheaper. That was a higher profit margin. Yeah.
But sockets are great because then if you need to repair it, you just pull the chip and put a new one in. If you solder it in, then you got to go through all the work.
See, Tandy had to cover it both ways, because if you did need to resocket a chip that was soldered in the board, where are you going to go get your socket?
Oh yeah, got to get it from Tandy,
and you get a bigger markup on the sockets directly there, so they make more money off that. So
one a piece instead of 20 at a time.
Not to mention the fact that they have that little sticker on the bottom of it that effectively says no user serviceable parts inside, i.e., you void your warranty.
Yeah, they just want you to get rid of it and get a Tandy 1000 and stuff.
Yeah,
you mean
the warranty was only
voided my
90
warranty?
days, so that didn't last much anyway.
Is he planning on doing a new CoCo 3 motherboard with extras?
I don't want to steal any of his thunder, but I understand he is working on one with surface mount components and stuff.
Excellent.
That would be logical.
The whole point is to make something out of modern parts,
Right, like they did in the Dragon.
Yeah, we'll have an update on the Dragon, like some of the stuff he's been adding to that board. He's still got a ton of room left over to fit the original case, so we'll cover that in the news.
Flipping huge.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on you and check in with you every now and then.
All righty.
If you see a bright flash of light or something coming from there, Mark, make
check
sure
right
you
away
bring it up
before-
right away.
yeah,
We got
before the feed goes down, we need to see the flames.
See any hair fire.
Okay. Let's see. Brian hasn't arrived yet, so how about you want to do commercial break and then game on results?
Sure. Did you get that new commercial thingy?
I haven't seen the new commercial.
I know Mark Overholzer was looking into whether it actually came through, but I didn't know if it did or not. So maybe we'll save that for the next show.
I don't think it got directed to any of my emails, so I'm not sure where it went. So
Yeah, it was TGB Chris sent something up. So
through the form submissions.
So we probably need to send him the link for the upload folder.
That'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah, there should be a link in the passwords file.
That's just what they'll be expecting us to do.
I actually think it's I think I know where to find it.
Okay.
if you can message that over to him, Mark, and we'll get it ready for next time.
All right.
Either Mark.
Yep. Okay, so over here, press this button and then this one.
Hey, Amy. Hey, Taylor. We're watching the CoCo Nation Show. Yeah, we are. Woo! You should too.
Hello everyone, it's your good buddy, your good pal Amigo, and joined by that dastardly The Brent from ARG Presents.
You're watching CoCo Nation.
I feel like that should have been longer.
The CoCo Nation Show would like to thank the following patrons: Alex Gayer, Brendan Donahue, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Kieran Anscombe, Coconut Bob, Daddy Burrito, Diego BF109, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Wapke, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Kevin Holloway, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Retro Tech Time, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Steege, TJ B. Chris, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., and William A. Thing. Thank you so much, patrons.
Welcome to everybody's favorite segment, Who's New to Discord?
Cam says, "Hi, I am from Belgium, CoCo owner since 1979, hobbyist electronics, owner of DEO1 board and CC3512K SDC. First name is Camillus." Window says, "Hello. Literally my first time ever using Discord. Mike S. here. I've gone by Window in online circles since around 1995, so I figured I'd go with that as a handle. As evidenced from yesterday's interview, I'm really out of the loop on CoCo stuff and stay busy in general, but since my Monster Mash is the game on challenge game this time, I'm here to see what happens. Oh, and I found out about it from yesterday's interview. The previous bios were edited for time. Thanks to Boysen, Glenside Computer Club, Paul Fiscarelli, Tandy Color Computer 3, and the CoCo Nation patrons for boosting the server. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the welcome section to read these bios in full and see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
See you on Discord.
Welcome everybody to the CoCo Nation Game On Challenge of the Week results video. This week we played Hyperzone. We had a total of 13 participants.
His lips
we
are
had
moving.
Mr. Dave 6309 with 1950, Mark B with 3850, Mark O with 5700, L Curtis Boyle with 6760, Buck Owens 7720, Tom C 13,070, Henry the Third 15,510.
You mean
Jim Rye?
I was within 5 of Buck Owens?
Shenley 20,840, Ed Rhodes 26,940, Canadian Retro Things 38,460, Nerf Herder 53,320, and this week's number one score is Tasman with 64,700. Thanks everybody that played, and we'll see you again after Christmas.
And here comes the Tasman.
Is that
That's
Tasman's official?
He's got a bumper now.
Oh, by the way, Franklin Harris just mentioned that they were hearing us on the hot mic that whole time.
Sweet.
That's why I wasn't talking.
Oh yeah, we were staring at your face, but they were seeing the video, but our mic, because Mark has two buttons twisted together somehow.
I don't know. That shouldn't have worked. That shouldn't have happened. I'll have to look at that later.
Your wires are twisted.
First world problems.
See, Frank, you shouldn't have mentioned that. Then we would have been doing it the whole show.
Right? Now we're all going to be quiet.
You might have really heard what goes on behind the scenes.
You might have really heard something.
Christmas special behind the scenes edition.
Exile says there are too many little check boxes in OBS.
Yeah, that there are. And then you add them to add the ones in Zoom too.
So this is where a little program called Auto Hotkey comes in.
All right. Well, shall we talk about our game? There's a couple of reviews from magazines. This one is from Color Computer
Magazine?
Magazine from January of '84. And basically they talk about they really like the perspective of the game. This is on the side here, it's Hyperzone and these two columns. We're not looking at Outhouse. We did that one a little while ago.
I missed it.
So they really like the illusion of looking out into space. Thought that the game was innovative, but it needed some work. The motion was jerky and slow. Steering was uncertain, slow, and not sweeping enough. And your ship is blasted by a bomb you can't see quite often. And the sudden changes of the background colors and foreground colors was very unnerving. The color combinations often made it very hard to see clearly on the screen. There were energy pods that appeared at random, but it was hard to tell if you hit them. I don't think I ever actually did hit them. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And many times they said that many times there was no response hitting the keys to turn the shields on and off. And I did find out through my own playing that if you were firing with the joystick, you couldn't turn the shields on and off. You had to stop firing for about 1 or 2 seconds, or maybe 1 second before you could turn your shields on or off.
I think that's because the PIA is sharing the same row. But Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. The same row with the joystick button as the space bar's on.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So
he should have picked a different key.
Yeah, you had to stop firing to turn the. So yeah. They thought it would be nice to have a speed setting that controlled the speed of the enemy and the ship and your ship. The game was a step in a fantastic direction, but needed work. And the problem that another problem was that you had to sit through the title screen every time. They could have added a menu to skip that. With some refinements, they thought to the motion routines that this game would rival some of the best perspective space games. And interesting enough, Computerware did actually respond to their thing, saying that they didn't have any bugs in the game and there was no problems. They were all features. So, Nick, did you used to work for Computerware?
They're copycats.
Right.
Everything that they complained about in there as being strange or problems with the game were features that made the game more difficult. And were put in there.
Well, that first sentence there, Ken, where it says Computerware says that the screen color changes indicate time zone changes. There's no time zones in space. What the heck are you talking about?
That's why I'm thinking Nick maybe worked for Computerware. All right, so that one was the computer Color Computer magazine, and then in Rainbow from March of '84, they had a little bit of a shorter review, but on the positive side, they thought that the graphics were well done, but on the negative side, there was a lot more things. They thought if this game had come out 2 years before it did, then it would have been an impressive game, but it wasn't keeping up with the time. The action could have been faster. You got bored rather quickly because except for changes in the background color, there's no variety in the gameplay. Something else that they found annoying was the redisplay of the entire title routine every time the game ended. They thought that Hyperzone had excellent graphics, but the play does not offer enough to hold one's interest for very long. This game has already been done and done better in Project Nebula.
I would agree.
So both of those reviews basically said that, there was the possibility of a good game there, but it, needed work.
Nick's one-word review. It sucked.
Don't sugarcoat it, Nick.
All right. So does anybody have any tips or tricks on that game?
Play Project Nebula.
Yeah. Good tip.
Have we ever played that?
We have not. Don't worry.
balance?
It's actually on my list.
Yeah. Make sure you do an advanced Star Commander level for that one. None of this wussy stuff.
Okay. I will consult you before I do the game. But yeah, I mean, it did get a little boring after a while, but it did have the nugget of a good game in there, but definitely could have.
Like the shield effect was pretty cool. The 3D perspective, even on the demo screen was good, but
I didn't point it out, but they actually, some of the people did not like the shield effect. They said that it was distracting and you couldn't see what was going on behind it, which I thought was just kind of that's not a very good complaint. Because I personally didn't find any problem with the shield effect.
I'd have one review for that statement. Squirrel. You should be able to pay attention to both at once.
Yeah.
You can interpolate position anyway. I mean, you see them going in either direction. So if they go and get hidden, it's not like they stick around and get hidden by the shield and stay there unless you put them there.
Yeah. The only thing I would mention is it seems to be that your shot's contacting, whether it's the energy thing that recharges your shields or if you're just trying to hit another ship, is that it seems to be color detection of where your bullets hit. So you'll see that like, the ship has different colors and there's a little center part that's a particular color and that's what has to be hit. So if you just hit a wing, it just goes through it. And I think if I remember, the energy thing does too.
I also did notice that you didn't have to hit the ships dead on to destroy. Like they sometimes when like you're shooting into the center, but sometimes you would catch it. The ship would be to the side and it would just run into the bullets that were closer to you, I guess. Or
yeah. There was one tip that was mentioned in the chat, I think, which they said if you space your shots out with the on-off fire button and then you hold it down, it will keep them spaced out so you don't get a burst and then nothing, because you're only allowed so many shots on the screen at once.
Although the amount of shots you were allowed was pretty good. Comparatively to some of these games, we were only allowed one shot.
Yeah, it's true. I will defend, I think it's Mike Lustig, I think is his first name. I will defend him a bit on this one just because it was one of his earliest ones, because he published a couple of games for computerware, a Grand Prix, which is Morocco Grand Prix, is another one I don't think we've done yet. And then Moonhopper was another computerware that he did too. But then he started his own game company, Arcade Animation Inc., and came up with like 4 games in one shot a little bit later. Those do play a bit better. They're still not like top tier, but they're better than this earlier attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Suck less.
You should be a motivational speaker, Nick.
I don't want to know what Nick would be motivating people to do, but
well, he just told you, suck less. That's the entire meeting.
Man, a few words.
Move to Australia.
That's what standing on your head all the time does to you.
All right, so that was Hyperzone. And the other game that we played this week was Monster Mash.
And you probably should mention a few things that were put into the Discord chat there, so people that might have enticement to go join if they don't have it already.
Yes. The Mike Snyder, the one that made the game, did actually put some maps in there so you could actually see where everything is. And
as well as a whole breakdown that we kind of covered a little bit last week of.
He put in a bunch of tips and tricks to play the game. So one of the things that I found interesting is that he mentioned a little program in there where you can actually program your computer to have the diagonals that are not in that game, because one of the most annoying things of the game is that you have to push up to jump and then to the side to move your guy over something. So it's kind of pixel perfect type jumping.
Yeah, and the controls do take a while to get used to because he doesn't have diagonals in there, which is the more natural feel. But once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. I have to agree with you, Ken, because originally when I started playing it, like my score was like 0, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0, 0 type thing. But actually, I started to get a hang of it. And I started getting through screens. I didn't get up to where the gold bags are, but I did manage to actually like kill monsters and get through like 7 or 8 screens in a row type thing. So you can get used to it.
Yep.
So you sucked less.
Well, Nick sucked more because he didn't even try. So
yeah. But so the object of that game is, if people have not played it yet, that you have to go through, find the gold bags. There's certain doors that you go through. Some of them are locked. You need certain amounts of gold to get through those doors.
Some are hidden.
Some are hidden. So, like his other games, he didn't make it easy.
Yeah, I swear he grew up in England.
So that game's a compiled basic one again, is it?
It is. Yeah. And actually, it doesn't do too bad. I mean, the drawing of the tiles in the background, it's drawing the refresh screen is a little bit slow compared to what a pure ML game. But the fact that it's actually doing, shapes, sort of sprites, over top the background without destroying the background like a straight basic game would have done, and at a fairly decent clip, it's actually pretty decent.
Yep.
And what compiler did he use?
He was trying to remember. I think he used, what's the one CirComp did? Was that C Basic 3?
C Basic, yeah.
Yeah, because Wasachaware's was ML Basic, I think they called theirs. I can't even remember now off the top of my head. But I think it was CirComp's, Bill Vergona's.
Yeah, he says in the chat that he thinks it was C Basic 3. And the program that I mentioned that you can actually program it to actually work with diagonals is called Joy to Key. He put that in the Game On Challenge today.
Ooh.
So you can actually program it in to work with the diagonals so that you maybe won't die quite as much jumping over stuff.
And there is a Joy to Key for Linux as well.
Yeah, the sad thing is, as he mentioned in his interview, like his brother kind of sold off or gave away all of his stuff while he was away in college. And if he'd still had the source code, he could probably go in and fairly quickly fix some of these flaws with his games here. But try to decompile a compiled basic program probably would not be fun.
Are you sure that he hasn't really got it there, but he's just heard about how much we put feature creep into stuff, and he's saying, "No, I don't have the source code. Sorry,
I got new releases. I got new releases you don't know about. I'll do them."
Now he sounded pretty disappointed when he came back home when everything was gone. So I don't think he's don't think he's doing that.
Well, it saves him the feature creep.
And a lot of Christmas presents to his brother.
I'd like to see what he could do with Graphics Express, actually, because that's a faster graphics engine for basic programmers. That's the one Jim Mullis has been fiddling with. And I'd like to see what he could do with that, actually. If the bug bites him enough to actually get back into programming on the CoCo 3.
So we've got that game to actually go for a couple weeks, and actually with the maps now, you know where you're going and where to find the things you're needing. So it should be a little bit easier now.
Little bit. I mean, most of the game is getting your timing and jumps right and not getting killed by monsters. So it's still a hard game, but at least you have an idea where you're supposed to be going next.
Well, even Mike was saying that he hasn't beat it yet again. So.
And not from lack of trying.
Nope. We've at least reignited his passion for playing the game. Now, to get him to make more new CoCo games. Come on, Mike.
Hey, be easier than, yeah.
Does anybody else have anything to say about this game?
Just practice. You'll eventually get somewhat used to the controls, which are a little odd to begin with. But once you do, it's actually not that bad. Then it's a matter of like the mapping, figuring out where the hidden doors are. That's a critical thing. There's a fairly obvious one fairly early on in the game. And he said that he designed most of them so it looked like it just goes off to a dead end, and basically you have to, center the joystick and press up, then click the button.
Up and jump to open a door. So you just got to be in the right spot. Otherwise, you just jump up in the air.
Yeah. It's funny when he talked about in the interview that he never got a 2-button joystick because he could have made an option to do it that way, or maybe pick a CoCo 3 when he just hit the second button. It would have been a lot easier.
You could have had a jump button and a fire button.
Yeah, but he said he didn't even have a deluxe back when he wrote these. He was running this all in a Black Beauty. I can't imagine trying to play this on the Black Beauty. That's challenge level. That's advanced game playing there.
Well, maybe he self-centered it with the old elastic trick.
Right.
True. I didn't find that reliable because the elastic would snap every once in a while.
Hey, it was better than nothing.
Right, it helps you get back towards the middle.
Mike in the chat says Curtis is right. Even knowing the full game map, the hard part is trying to fight with the bad controls. That's something you'd never hear Nick admit, even if it's true. Right, Neutroid guy?
What?
Yeah, but we all know that Nick's games are all perfect.
Perfectly bad in that
Bug-free,
case, but
perfect playing games.
Actually, the current Neutroid does suck less. I will say that.
Well, that's an endorsement.
Although it took him 5 tries, but it sucks less.
Yep, 5 tries, and 40 years later, he got it, sort of.
So bug-free and perfect does not imply good. It implies bug-free and perfect.
That's probably pretty accurate, right, Nick?
Yeah. I don't know. You guys keep talking about these bugs.
What are they? How do they work?
In Australia, they're called features, Nick.
Yeah. In Australia, real bugs will just literally kill you. So
Yeah.
Well, right.
true.
If you're alive, it
The only
wasn't
thing
a
that's a
bug.
bug in Australia is something that fries your computer. So
Everything in Australia will kill you.
yeah,
But
especially
their
next
possums
games.
are cute.
Until they kill you.
So does anybody else have? I definitely think that that Monster Mash is a game that people should give a try to. And
Yeah. I have to say, considering he didn't use a graphics editor like Color Max or Coca Max or anything like that at that time, he actually drew everything with draw statements, and then he created get put buffers afterwards. But he did everything in BASIC for drawing those things. That there's a lot of good detailed graphics in there. He did an excellent job.
and actually go through the Game On Challenge thing and the channel and look at all the things that Mike has written about the game, because it's quite interesting. I think I'll just read the one that he wrote this morning, which I found kind of funny.
Very interesting. Yes.
Here's one last bit of trivia on the origins of the game, which I learned by reading back through my journal I mentioned the other day. My friend Frame had nothing to do with making it. He wasn't even in town when I worked on it. I have no idea why he's credited on the title screen, unless maybe he did give me a basic idea at some point earlier or something, or if maybe I just thought it would make the game sound more professional to have more names than just mine on it.
So, Nick, do you want to feel more professional? You could take sponsorships and make some money, extra money that way.
There you go.
Well, I stick your name in the game testing credits. I mean, that may account for bad sales.
Yeah, good. That would drive your sales
Shots
down, not up.
fired.
Yeah. You're just using the wrong people on your endorsements, I think. I noticed Kevin Holloway's pimping your game, though, by replacing
Yeah,
himself
that's right.
with the-
Well, he's my new sponsor.
He'll be your new tester then.
I hope you're paying him a lot of money.
His name will be on the next game's credits.
Oh, don't worry. We can certainly give it a neutroid.
Yeah, because Curtis liked it. That's why everyone's like, oh, no, it can't be good. Curtis has to hate it.
Oh, I do hate it. Trust me.
Oh, now you made him flip the screen.
Yeah, that's a good package. I would definitely recommend that
That's a
one.
good disc.
Yeah. That's a 3-in-1, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got 3 really good games on it.
Yep. Shame about the one after that.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping next game will be better.
It's got a good start. I'll say that. That's all I'll say.
All right. Enough ragging on poor Nick.
Merry Christmas,
For now.
Nick.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Nick.
Really?
Oh, Brian says he'll be on in about 45 minutes.
Okay, cool. Keep an eye on that.
Or your
All right,
pizza's
so
free.
I guess if nobody else has anything else to say about Monster Mash,
No, definitely go try it. It will take some more time to get some control, so reserve a bit of time to do it. You're not going to like just pick this up and go in 2 minutes.
And just remember when you're playing it that it is done in compiled BASIC. So
yeah,
it's that's just from a technical standpoint, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, the only thing that really reveals itself to be compiled BASIC versus ML is the pause between drawing screens, because it's about 3 to 4 seconds before it actually kicks it in. But the actual gameplay while you're playing feels fine.
So if you're running it on, would that speed up if you overclock the, like say VCC, ran it up to like 45 megahertz?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the CBasic didn't frame lock. Actually, Bob Emery, if you have your code Give Me X handy, we should try the 3 megahertz to see what it runs like on there.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot here in a few minutes.
Poor Bob. He's trying to
Try to solder these 27 more chips.
He's only got 3.5 more hours to solder this, and you want him to do that too?
Of course.
All right, so as you may have remember from the very beginning of the show, we had our live little talk about whether we were doing a Game On Challenge this week, which we're not going to have the live Game On show unless enough people just go and hang out in the Discord. We may hit the button, but it's not a scheduled show. So, Sloopy, anything you want to say about that? And
Last week's show was great.
yeah, you weren't there.
Exactly. That's what made it so great.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people there. They were talking, they were interacting and conversing.
The author of the game actually showed up in the last bit.
Right.
Mike showed up and gave us. That's when he showed us the screens that he had been working on for Monster Bash, the map screens. So
That's the best show we've had in 2 years.
So there we go. Just jump forward. So there's his map screens right there.
I think next week will be our best show of the year.
But yeah, there's not as many people as we've had in the past, but we're having fun on this show. So
did he say that this game was inspired by Castlevania?
He said that was one of his games that he was probably inspired by. He can't remember exactly, but that's definitely a game that he played back in the day.
It does have that Castlevania look to it, yeah.
Yeah. And he's not shy about putting initials in the backdrops of the screens.
Yes. A lot of games did that back in the day. Like if you play Dragon Slayer by Tom Mix on the first level, there's a TM in the middle of the screen, and Dave dies when he did Gold Runner and Gold Runner 2. He's got his initials and some of the other people there too on the screen as well. So yeah, so that was the Thursday night live show. I don't know, not much else to say about it other than we had fun. So why isn't everybody there? Come on, people. You should be there playing the games. And like I said,
some of us have other lives sometimes.
What an lame excuse.
That's an excuse, Mark.
Yeah, not often.
I know. And also I showed
although
up for
you
the
were
early
there
part.
for a while, so
I was there for the early part, yeah.
So I cannot say you weren't there. So
yeah, and I got to slam myself too because it took me over an hour to get there myself. So
Yeah.
Yes, and I think I was sleeping then.
Yeah, it took me a while to get there, and I was only there for a short time.
David, you're supposed to sleep during the news.
oh, Mike in the chat is saying yes, mostly Castlevania was the inspiration for this one.
Yeah.
okay, there we go.
Yes, and I love Castlevania.
Which one?
Actually, my favorite one's Castlevania 2.
What's Castlevania?
It's a Nintendo game.
I thought it was a themed restaurant in Pennsylvania.
All right, so like I said, we're not having an official show this Thursday, but next Thursday we're going to have a catch-all show where just come and play any old CoCo game you want. Which really you can do on any of the shows. We just generally suggest you play the Game On Challenge ones, but
Yeah, we suggest that you try it. This week, we're just going to suggest you play a game.
and don't worry, when you see which one I chose for this one, you probably won't want to play it anyway.
That's a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one.
Is it Neutroid again?
Are we playing Spectaculator?
So
better.
By Thursday, you're going to want to get away from the relatives visiting anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we might have the busiest Game On challenge we've ever had.
So
Even
Thursday
color scripts at 2 will be worthwhile.
Thursday night, it will be like, no, sorry, I've got a show to do. I cannot stay around and talk to your mother-in-law.
Perfect.
All right, previous commitment, gotta go.
So shall I show you which games I chose? Well, obviously we're doing Monster Mash again, and this will be for 2 more weeks on Monster Mash. And our new game that we will also be playing for 3 weeks. It's going back into the classics.
The Frog.
Correct.
Ooh.
The Blue Frog.
I have a
Okay.
love-hate relationship with this one.
Yeah, it's one where
you get to
I
renew
thought
it.
we'll stay with the theme of janky controls. The
Yep.
Frog is actually a decent Frogger clone. It just does not have the best controls.
I find 2 flaws in the game and then some really good stuff. So the flaw, the controls, which is arrow key based. It's not joystick. But it's also has a delay because it's using really crappy sound. It's basically using the basic sound command.
Oh my.
So it's crappy. But the graphics are actually better than the arcade one, in my opinion, because they have a lot better animations.
This is a Tom Mix software game. So
written by Andrew Hubble.
Yeah, we'll just do Jumpin' Joey.
Yeah, we should have a Frogger theme. You play any Frogger.
Yeah, there's quite a few to choose from.
Isn't there even an official Frogger?
Yeah, we have an official one as
There
well.
is, yes.
There's the Frog, Frog Trek, Frogger, Froggy, Rail Runner, Rainbow Roach,
Croaker.
Yeah, the hot cocoa one. I'm forgetting a few though. There's a few that have been lost to time that were advertised back in the early days too. So yeah, there's probably at least 7 or 8 that we have that we could play. If you did want to do a Frog, actually, that's not a bad idea, Ken and Sloopy. What do you think about occasionally having a sort of free for all, but on a specific game clone of all the different clones?
Yeah,
sounds great.
I like the answer will just be murder, though.
With a big list of all the games, especially with a large list of games, so that the scores are done by individual game.
We can even do one for Neutroid.
Or we could just do it as
Or I could just bang.
That's
we could do it as
off the wall.
I would do it more as a participation thing because it might get annoying to have 7 different high score lists or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't do 7 high score lists. At the most, what I do is say like, okay, how many did you play, and what was the highest score?
Henry, we're trying to get him to make all those 7 high score lists.
Hell no.
Hell's no. It's the data analyst in me coming out, okay? Minimize what needs to be put in there. Big reports are bad.
We aren't trying to be logical here.
I didn't
60
say
is throwing
logic,
the
I said
gauntlet
data
down about
analysis.
buzzard
There's a
bait.
difference.
It needs to have all 7 lists.
Logical. Are you new to this program?
What's this logic thing you speak of?
Actually, I think that's a great idea. We should do it where we're going to have all 7 high score lists. Sloopy, by the way, I'm off that weekend, so
You got to pick up for me.
No problem. I'm off that weekend too. So Jim Ryan, guess what? Get ready.
He's not here. Perfect.
Sounds like he just volunteered.
No, he's the intern. So
I don't think I'd do that as a regular game on. I would do like a special, like a Christmas special or something like that. You could do the challenge where we're gonna hit every single clone of this particular game on the CoCo.
Right, and decide who's best by whatever means we choose.
That's why I mentioned it. It is Christmas next week.
Well, we are having a free for all, but it's a complete free for all. I think.
It's not.
We could switch it up and say over the next 3 weeks, play any Frogger game you want.
Yeah,
and,
there's so many there. So
instead of the high score list, you have the best score list, and we can decide what's best by whatever criterion we want.
Yeah,
because I don't know if they all score the
we'll
same.
decide how it's
top 3 of each game.
Yeah, that could actually work because we're also looking at we got the other holiday week, which is between Christmas and New Year. So that Thursday might be a question mark anyway. So if we do go all the way into the new year, play any and every Frogger that's out there, give us your scores, give us your screenshots, show us what you got going on. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so
it
sounds like Henry's volunteering to head this up. So
live decision, it's gonna be any Frogger clone that we have on the color computer.
Does this include Jumping Joey?
Yep.
Yay!
Woohoo! And my next suggestion for a special episode is a free for all where you play anything but Knicks games.
That limits the games available.
There goes the viewership.
And then Marco suggests the Buzzard Bait Lancer Joust set.
Yeah,
we did that one a couple.
Yeah,
years
we did that
ago.
already.
Oh,
we covered
did
Pegasus. We covered
Yeah.
the transcode. We covered Buzzard Bait. We covered Lancer.
Man,
Well, the transcode wasn't out yet, so we only did the 3 Buzzard Bait.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that came on a bit later.
Yeah,
the Donkey Kong one.
Yeah, because Buzzard Bait's best.
Robotron.
Yeah.
Maybe we
So
have
many
an all
Pac-Man
arcade
clones.
show where it's actual arcade ports.
Lancer's the best one.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Buzzard baits.
And Pegasus is pretty darn good too. Honestly.
Pegasus is really good, but I just Lancer
the flight
wins out
mechanics
just
feel
a little
better
bit.
on Lancer.
Yeah. Although the flight mechanics on Pegasus are pretty good because you're riding a horse, and when you stop flapping, you just drop. Which I would imagine if you were flying around,
It's exactly like jumping a horse off a cliff. I speak from experience. No, I'm just kidding.
It's Angry Birds meets Joust. Not Angry Birds. Flappy Bird meets Joust.
Should have 1 week that's just the word processor spectacular.
That
Teller script set versus Telewriter 64.
Yeah,
You can throw Cocodal in there too if you wanted.
Scripts, it'll wipe the slate.
Which one though? Scriptset 1 or 2?
Oh, 1, the best one.
No, 2's better. All right, so that's for the next for the next 2 weeks we're playing Monster Mash, and for the next 3 weeks we're playing any Frogger game you can find on the color computer.
And you'll be doing the top 3 scores of each game.
I have absolutely no idea how we're going to score.
We'll have
this
it all
one.
figured out by the time we reach the frontier.
So we can write a Frogger game and quick play it, and then take the high score.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the typing ones. There's some on T&D and Chromaset too. Yeah.
Nice one, Henry.
Way to throw the bomb in the room, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I give Henry the award for Feature Creep of the Year.
There you go.
And it's carrying over into next year too.
Oh God.
Gee, Kevin's really trying to get his name on my my next game, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I wouldn't say suck less in this case. It would be suck up, I think is what I would say here.
Really?
All right. Are you ready for some news?
Sure.
No, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah, because otherwise people are going to start calling asparagus on this.
They haven't already?
Yeah.
No.
That starts the
Sorry.
pre-show.
So how much of each do we have?
It's a bit shorter this week, so I got announcements and game on stuff I'll probably do. Then we'll do a break, see if Ryan's here by then. And then I'll kick into the regular news because it's a bit more regular than those game on news and the announcements.
Do you want to start with the announcements or you can do game on?
Yeah, announcements first. Just get
Okay.
them out of the way. So share the screen.
I think I can use Spectaculator to compete in the word processor challenge.
Cool. 4 numbers.
Okay, so first off, we've got 2 interviews scheduled currently, and Henry will be a third probably in February sometime. So we might have to discuss that because one of the interviews that we did have scheduled has to have a date change moved here, so we actually do have a bit of an opening earlier if he wants to. But the first one is January 6th, which is a double interview with Glen, Dahlgren, and Doug Masten. And Doug Masten was one of the original authors of Contras, which you can see here. And he also brought a lot of stuff to the fest here that will be showing on the show for anybody who didn't make the fest to be able to see some of the stuff that was actually used in designing Contras. That's on January the 6th. And then originally we were going to have this on January 20th, but Glen Dahlgren got to me just this morning and mentioned that he's got a book signing at the exact same time. So we're going to move that to January 27th, but maybe not because also that's the virtual CoCo Fest, unless we want to make it part of the virtual CoCo Fest. So Mark O and me will try to work that out with Glenn to see exactly when this is happening. So Henry, we were talking about getting you on in February because kind of roughly scheduling interviews every 2 weeks, but did you want to fill in the old spot?
What
Or did
day
you
was
wanna
that?
wait?
What date was that?
January 20th originally.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You heard it here first, folks. Let me just add
Anything
that to
else
my
you need to schedule right now?
psychiatric exam? I don't know.
Wait until you're actually like being hospitalized before you do that. It's a lot more fun because you get to ride in the ambulance.
Okay, so we'll do the Here's Your Life, Henry, on January 20th. And then January 27th, Glenn will be coming back to promote both his new and final book in his series. And also he's going to be looking for some kind of the same thing that Doug's doing. We're trying to pull out some of the original sketches and design notes on some of his CoCo games back from the Sundog days, or even previous to that when he's selling through Mark Data, etc. So that's it for interviews. And just for those of you who don't know, and of course it's going to do that. This is the new book that finishes the series, and why he's getting busy with all these book signings and stuff. Now we'll go on to shows coming up. So the first one is VCF SoCal, February 17th to 18th in Orange, California at the Hotel Fair Event Center. And you can get your tickets and stuff here on their website at www.vcfsocal.com. And they've actually got the SDF one. This is the one that Mark Overholzer, I think, was going to try to attend last year, but wasn't able to. So they haven't got everything open for like actually getting, speaker schedules and registration stuff. That doesn't open until January, but they actually have got a tiny little web page now that actually mentions it and where it's going to be. So March 23rd and 24th, the Interim Computer Festival happens in Seattle, Washington at Intraspace. And Mark, do you know any more details about this yet, or?
No, I haven't seen anything. There is a mailing list that I got on for the September, October one, and I haven't seen any traffic on it yet. So,
okay, because you might hear some stuff on that list that I won't see on their site or anything. Yeah. So if you do get anything, just forward it to me.
I do know that they're trying to basically take up the slack from the Vintage Computer Festival Pacific Northwest. So that's what they're kind of aiming to do, is restart that. So by moving to March, that's where the VCF Pacific Northwest was in the past, 2018, 19, and was set up for 2020. So anyway, so that sounds like they're trying to move it in the same time slot. So I'm all for it. Planning on being there.
Okay, cool. Next after that, we have the 32nd annual Last Chicago CoCo Fest, which takes place at the Holiday Inn and Suites at Carroll Stream near Chicago and near the airport, actually, if you're flying in. This is going to be a special one. There's going to be some extremely rare hardware on display. Official announcements about what that exactly is going to be will probably be coming the next month or two, but you definitely don't want to miss it if you can possibly make it to this show, because you'll see some CoCo history that's not been seen by anybody really before. Next up, we have the one where I'm conflicted as to which one I'm going to go to. There's Boat Fest, the third annual Boat Fest, this time moved to a new venue at the Social Event Space. This is June 14th to 16th, 2024 in Hurricane, West Virginia.
You pronounced it right.
What's that?
Yes, you pronounced it right.
Oh, I know. Boat and Aaron have schooled me in how to pronounce that a couple years back.
You don't know how many times I've sat here listening to you say that and say, it's Hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they pronounce it differently there than everywhere else in the world. That
it's
same
West
word,
Virginia. That's all I gotta say.
That's really all you have to say, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty well sums it up. Anyway, it's a good retro gaming show. There definitely is an emphasis on games, but they also have some hardware repairs and hardware stuff on there as well. Ken and I have both been to it before. Hopefully, Henry will be able to make it this next year too. It's a fun time. We've even had some people, but last year we're bringing in, some people are flying in from Europe and stuff, and they'd be bringing like delicacies, dessert delicacies, stuff from their respective countries for everybody to try, which is really cool. And booze to try too.
What is a dessert delicacy from West Virginia?
Possum pie? I don't know.
No, not possum's pie. I think it's like squirrel stew or something like that.
Fried squirrel brains and eggs.
Candied squirrels.
Candied squirrel.
It's for dessert. Come on.
I like it.
Oh my.
I don't even see. Mom grew up through the Southern tradition, so I'm used to pecan pie as being the big thing. But
right.
Maybe it's just a Twinkie
or pecan.
No, pecan.
Oh, okay.
Pecan. I don't. That's how my family pronounced it.
I think Franklin Harris actually he summed it up with their special dessert at Moonshine.
There you go.
Yup.
That's a good dessert. Finishes every meal.
No.
Don't forget turtle stew.
You have to make it out there sometime, David, too. You'd have a lot of fun at that show, honestly.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am. 100%.
And as you see from the map, it's all cross country anyway.
And it's not that far from West Virginia's only amusement park.
And also, if you go to the to Boat Fest, they have one of the best pizza spots.
Yes.
That,
it's within just a couple blocks of even the new location. Like it's easily walking distance.
Is it
Awesome pizza.
Is it called Domino's or?
I
can't remember what it's called.
Do you remember, Ken?
No, I don't. Frank, do you remember what that pizza place was called?
Yeah, Frank might remember. You can tell us in the chat there.
Little Caesars?
No, it's not a chain. It's a
local.
No.
It's a local guy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, West Virginia has a lot of like local fooderies that aren't chained that are very, very good.
They're good.
There's a very good one that Boat's wife just opened up the last couple months here. We'll be
Yeah.
trying that out if you're there too. So
I'm gonna have to.
anyway, June 13th to 14th to 16th, social event space in Hurricane, West Virginia. But that exact same weekend is the second return of VCF Southwest. And this is in Dallas at the Davidson Gundy Alumni Center at the University of Texas, Dallas. And there's a lot of Tandy people, including Mark Siegel and a bunch of others that are down there, and Prickett and a whole bunch of others that they had a whole Tandy seminar, because of course this is the headquarters of Tandy Radio Shack. So, and because the old guard of Tandy is getting older and older, and there's less of them around, I do want to make the show at least once to talk to and interview some of the people there, and people up in their 70s and 80s. It might be the last time to do it. So I'm really torn on this one. So I'll have to see how things go. I mean, it'll be a bit more expensive for me to go to that one. Well, actually, a lot more expensive for me to go to that one. So that might play a factor into it or not. But hopefully some other CoCo people. I know Brendan Donahue made it down last year. He had his own booth even for the CoCo VJ, etc. So anyway, two really great shows. VCF Southwest, of course, is just general vintage computer stuff and home console stuff all the way across the board. And honestly, Boat Fest is the same thing, except with a bit of a game slant. So either one, you're going to have a great time. So. And that's it for the announcements part of things. So I'll do a game on news next. Did you want? But the first one here is Magic Square, which is an old game from 1977, originally by James Cohen, that he's ported to the MC10. And it's from James' book called Advanced Basic Applications and Problems. So it's a bit of a strategy game. This program generates odd order magic squares by the de la Loubert method. I have no idea what that is.
So it's all right. I can't pronounce it either.
Yeah. It looks like too much of a thinking man's game for me. But all right, he's ported that one if you want to try that one out. And then he's got one for the new 10-liner basic programming contest this year. He's submitting one, a version of Snakes and Ladders. And I think, if I remember, he's done a Snakes and Ladders before, but I think this has actually been modified and improved upon. I'll have to maybe check with Jim to see exactly what. But it actually kind of like draws the board here using semi-graphics, and you can see like the snakes and the ladders where you plummet down or up type thing, depending. A little dice roll in the middle, roughly middle left at the bottom there. Yes, he's got some nice little, considering what he's working with for graphics wise. He's even using the alternate character set so that the player's pieces stand out using the dark red and orange, but still leaves green free for some of the actual spaces on the board. I'm assuming most people here on the panel have played Snakes and Ladders, the board game, at some point.
Yep.
I haven't done it in like 40 years, but I do remember it.
I don't remember Snakes and Ladders. I remember like something else, like Chutes and Ladders, but not snakes.
It's the same difference.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize there was an alternative name. I always knew it as Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah, the board game that I had as a kid was called Shoots and Ladders.
Okay, the one I had was Snakes and Ladders.
Somebody, not me, because I already know, should Google up why there's a difference and why the snakes were there to begin.
They probably took the snakes out because it was too scary for the little kids.
Marketing.
Copyright, trademarks. Yeah.
No,
Milton Bradley.
If you don't figure it out.
It was more Indiana Jones friendly without the snakes.
They still make Shoots and Ladders. It's still a very popular game.
So what is the reason of the difference, just out of curiosity?
Because
why there's two names.
The original version was a morality game. You ascend towards heaven on the ladders, and you slide towards not heaven on the snakes.
Oh, so we had to like clean it up for.
It was originally developed as a way to teach children about early morality stuff. So
wow, I had no idea.
Okay,
I never would have guessed that.
Which makes the Shoots and Ladders version particularly American, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, no, that's kind of fascinating, actually. Now here we are speaking about the basic 10-ladder contest. So here's the rules, and it's actually run in Europe. So if you go to the page, which is in the show notes, if you go in our Discord, when you first look at it, it's in like, I don't know, is this German or something? But basically, you can
like
scroll
German
down
to
and
me.
get the actual converted version to English type thing. It's got the rules for the contest here. There's multiple categories like they've done every other year. So you've got the pure one where every line has to be 80 characters or less, and you have 10 lines maximum. They have the 120 character line. They have the 256 character line, which the CoCo can do as well. And then they have the kind of unlimited go nuts type version. And then all the things here. They've got actually little prizes, and they announce awards and stuff, and they do this every year. So we've covered it before in previous years. But it's cool to see that Jim's entering it yet once again. And he's done a pretty good job on that game there. It actually looks pretty good for 10 lines of basic.
You might want to acknowledge that your toolbar got upgraded.
Sorry, what?
On your Chrome, your toolbar got upgraded.
Your NAG messages are being broadcast to the world.
I'm not even seeing me NAG messages here. What are you talking about?
Huh.
I'm not seeing it.
Maybe it's Mark's NAG messages.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I don't see these anywhere in here. What?
Never mind. For some strange reason, it's on just my screen. It's on Zoom.
It's you, man.
It's on
you.
Zoom.
Yeah, it's just on Zoom.
Oh, funny.
Okay. So does that mean my Zoom may be out of date? Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's just on my Zoom.
Ah, okay. Your Zoom's out of date.
Weird.
It's all your fault, Mark.
You missed your daily update.
I guess it's doing weird things with the sound too.
Yeah, you did miss your. I had one 2 days ago, so welcome.
It
to
is
our
doing
world.
weird things with the sound. I haven't heard you mispronounce a name today.
Oh,
Should have bombed.
Okay, next up, Mr. Alan Murphy, I'd like your help talking about this one a little bit. So another one that Jim's been working on is Nostromo, or the full Japanese title, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce here. Which of course
give
is
it a whirl. It'll be fun.
Have Mark pronounce it for us.
Yeah, that'd be more fun.
Who you saw it?
I'll just say
let's
Nostromo,
see,
but basically, what? Sorry.
Let's see. Achu. Let's see. Yeah.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's like
No, that's German.
Krankenwagen.
At any rate, Nostromo, originally programmed in 1901 and considered one of the earliest jump scare games, which I think was originally a PC 6001 game. Now, from what Jim had mentioned in the comments on the description here, he's actually been in contact with you, Alan, about this game. Is that true?
Yes, he has.
So did you help him with the game, or what exactly was the correspondence?
So it's in one of his earlier blog posts. He and I have been kind of tag teamed back and forth on messing with this game. So many years ago, he ran across an animated GIF of the gameplay and immediately recognized it was done on a VDG. And so he got interested in it, and all he could find was the animated GIF. So he programmed a version of the game based on what he could figure out from looking at the GIF. That was version 1. Then I found his translation. I'm like, wait, there's an Alien game I don't have? So then I started digging around and ended up finding the NEC PC 6000 one on archive.org somewhere and finding more about it. And I had mentioned it on one of my blog posts by the full name. And that gave him enough clue or something to go find out a lot more about it. And he ran into the source code and he started updating and made a second version based on actually seeing the game. Or at least the basic pieces of it. Now, the game itself was originally a kind of it was inspired by an earlier game called Shoplifting Boy, where you broke into stuff and stole stuff from a store and the security guard chased you. But what the original programmer, Akira Takiguchi, didn't like about Shoplifting Boy was you could always see the guard. It made it too easy. So in 1980, when he started programming on Nostromo, Alien, the movie, had just come out. He was a science fiction fan and really liked it. And what he thought was, I'll make an Alien type game where it'll be Shoplifting Boy's idea at first. You can see the alien, the little @ sign moving around. And then after a few levels, the alien becomes invisible unless it's in the hall with you. So that's what kind of basically put this into the survival horror category, because not only does it include this survival element of the, avoiding this unseen stalker until it's close enough to be in the same hall with you, but there is a cutscene or 3 in the actual code. So once it's ready to switch it to the harder mode of the game, it'll stop and it will show you like a graphic of the hallway, and you're like moving down the hallway. It cuts to another frame of the hall, and then it draws a big version of the @ sign in the middle of the hall with the words "It's here" in Japanese at the bottom. And that's your sign that, oh, okay, we're doing the bonus round, or that it's now brought up this survival mode. So it sounds to me, not having seen the video, that he has put, there it is. Yeah. And now see, he's done it in the MC10 semi-graphics bits. Yeah. Oh, in the English. So yeah, he's got the time trial banner and the other screens in there. So it's looking like he's actually finished out fully translating the original, rather than what he originally started with was just kind of an impression of it from a GIF. So yeah,
wow.
I've been following this for a while, and it is what inspired me to try to make a CoCo version. And I went to the original basic source and found some Z80 assembly behind it, and have been going to that as well so that I can recreate the original Alien movement. And at some point, when I get, now that the alien moves the way it's supposed to, I can actually kind of explain that to Jim if he's interested, and we could translate that over into his MC10 versions. So he also threatened that if I don't actually get my version done at some point, that he'll eventually just break down and make it for the CoCo as well. and I think at the time he said that, I said something like, yeah, go for it. Yeah, there we go. That saves me a whole thing. But now he's been working on the MC10 ones. And it's really kind of impressive what he was able to get out of the MC10 from the original, given that the original uses a custom kanji font ROM for that machine. And there's 3 voice music using a variation of Microsoft's play statement, and it programs an AY using a modified sound command and all kinds of stuff. So he managed to recreate the original game really closely the first go around, and then once he found the actual bits, he has turned the MC10 version into really it. So
cool. I do know, like, I found his blog because he mentioned it in there as well, so you can see it here.
Yeah, there's the GIF.
So this is what he based the original version totally on, just this one animated GIF.
And then later he found a playthrough video from a Russian lady going by the handle Ponteriasha that she got up far enough that showed that the part where it became invisible and things.
Yeah, here's where he mentioned you here.
Oh yeah. And that was very cool. That was a surprise. I was like, oh hey, I'm on here somewhere. Oh no, run.
Right.
And he's got his progress here. And here's, of course, the map of the.
No,
ship,
that's
I'm
a
guessing.
different Alien game.
Oh.
So was that original version based on the thing had playing card graphics? So they
Yes.
used that to get graphics?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
They
the
have
font
hearts,
ROM
clubs, and-
in the original does have the card suit graphics and supports.
So the very top one, yeah, looks like playing cards just because that was the graphics they had.
Yep.
So they used it. Cool. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just a VDG. It's the same chip in the MC10 and the CoCo, just with a custom ROM, just like we used to get the lower kits and stuff back in the day.
Right. But if you go to the top of the page, they had those custom fonts that they used to. So it's not fonts, it's like hearts and clubs.
That's what my CoCo 1, 2, 3 version looks like.
Yeah, because you actually did a graphics font for it, right?
I did the graphics font. It does support CoCo VGA. It'll draw this all on the P Mode 4 screen, and it does it on the a 256 by 192 CoCo 3 screen in that exact font. And I just posted an update on the Discord to mine when I got the Alien moving a little while ago, and you know, so I've got some stuff on the page I could show what those look like as well. But yeah, the GIME is the inspiration for how I got into choosing that as the thing I was going to try to learn 6809 assembly porting, rebuilding.
Nice.
So you said you actually have an update?
Oh no, I've already put it on the Discord a while back.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you want, I can stop sharing if you wanted to
No,
show something.
It's not for anything for me to. The alien chases you exactly like that in the GIF.
Okay.
Nice.
And when you go in a room, it kind of like stalks around the outside of the room trying to get to you and stuff. And that was part of the movement that I wanted to get right. And that all that junk was hidden in the Z80 assembly code that follows the basic code when you load it from the tape.
Oh, they appended on the end?
Yep.
Yeah, some CoCo programs did that sneaky little trick too.
Yeah, and since it's a Microsoft Basic, it was not hard to figure out the line format and the tokenization and pull it all apart, and then start taking the Z80 code apart. But getting the way the Z80 logic works compared to the way that 6809 logic works, and I have found every possible way you can do it wrong.
Yeah, there's stuff like even with the 6502, there's certain flags that don't quite work the same.
Yes, they all work different now, and I'll get the wrong one at least 3 or 4 times.
Cool.
So
Well, at any rate,
cool
if you want to read the full
Yeah.
blog here, the link is in the show notes on our Discord as well. If you want to go through, I won't read it all here, obviously, because it's pretty large. But looks like there's some history of other Alien-based games too, which I think both you and Jim are fans of.
Oh yeah. There's even more that I need to send over to Jim at some point.
And because that wasn't enough, he also did this In the Woods, which is originally by Ken. And I'm not sure if that's the same Ken we're having our show here today. From ASCII
This is on the
Publishing.
same tape as Nostrum. There were 4 games there, and this is another one that was there.
Yeah, it's another PC 6001 port to the MC10 called In the Woods. And this is more like an escape style, I think, except you're trying to collect treasures without running into...
You're trying to, I think if I remember right, it's a witch in the woods that's trying to...
Yeah, you got a time limit to go collect all the diamonds. And you can't run into trees or mushrooms. So the diamonds are the asterisks. The XY walking figure is you. So you have to go collect them without hitting the other shapes.
Okay, this is one of the other ones on the tape, not the witch one that I was...
And I don't know, is this one where you hold the key down to move, or you hit the key and then you're walking that direction to kind of force you to make decisions quickly?
I haven't played any of the other ones on the tapes.
Oh, okay.
But they also put out a demo tape, all 4 of the games. And the demo actually has the instructions for Nostromo on it, which is why I was like going through all that. So.
It looks like a challenging game because if it's one where you hit the key and then you're walking that direction until you hit another key or you run into something, that would be fairly challenging because when you pick up the diamonds, it leaves one of those little shapes behind you can't run into. So it fills the board back up and makes it a bit more complicated. So I could see that definitely being a fun little diversion game to play. Next up, Mr. Ken Waters. If you want to talk about this one here, I'll mute it and you can tell me if there's a certain spot I should fast forward to or kind of discuss what this video is about on your channel.
Basically, I just looked at some Doctor Who games that are available on the CoCo just because of the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who just having happened. So I figured take a look at some games.
So this first one here by Prickly Pear, I do remember reading about this one. In fact, I think I tried it. I was kind of a bit confused with it.
Yeah, it's
that sigh said it all, I think.
Yeah, it gets really boring really fast, which is unfortunate because
kind of like
I think if I remember, Alan Huffman covered this one years ago because he's a huge Doctor Who fan too.
There was some notes from Alan in the download. So,
oh really? Did he modify the game at all?
Well, he made it so that it could be released on disc because apparently it originally came on cassette. So,
oh okay.
And the sound file was just a separate file on the disc or on the cassette. Which a very odd choice of music in this game for some reason.
Yeah, that struck me as weird. Like, was that on the original?
Well, that's according to Alan, it was, yes.
For those of you who haven't tried this or haven't watched Ken's video, and I'm not going to put the music on here because even though it's generated by a CoCo multi-voice, it probably will get a copyright ding. It's Country Roads. Yeah. What the heck does that have to do with Doctor Who?
Well, I guess technically you're supposed to end up at Gallifrey at the end of this game. So he's technically going home.
What year was this game?
1983 or 5.
4?
Oh, he had the code, so he just used it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that was the time Country Roads was everywhere.
Yep. He just got the Clell Dildy code with from forget which of the magazines it was, but it was the original 6809 4-voice music port of the 6502 stuff that Hal Chamberlain did. And yeah, it came with Country Roads as data, and it came with that organ sound that we've heard forever. That was all from the original version of the 4-voice player, and they just lifted and dropped it in. There, we've got music done.
Yeah, and that was with the original, like what the composer used was kind of the more scratchy organ music that kind of fixed up the waveform later on with Musica and Lyra and stuff. You can tell the difference between those two engines because it doesn't hit the high notes as well. It really gets off and has a bit of a scratch.
Straight 6502 port to 6809.
Yeah,
that was also one of the most annoying things about this game is that you when you go to do anything, it plays the entire song.
Yeah.
So it was 7. I went back and looked through my footage. It was 7 minutes and 38 seconds just to start the game before anything even happened with playing the music and loading the game.
Nah, I just got a nope out of that.
So, Mike Snyder, don't worry about that 3 or 4 seconds between each screen on Monster Mash.
And like, what is this screen about here?
Well, this is when you're landing on a planet and you have to avoid all the enemy ships. All those are different enemy ships, Daleks and Cybermen and everything else. You're trying to find all these keys. Yeah, you're your little gray thing is the TARDIS.
Which looks nothing like a TARDIS. Okay.
Looks nothing like a TARDIS.
Not even the color which is available.
Right, the TARDIS is blue.
Yeah, well, anyway, you finally land on the planet and you get the key and you have to collect these 7 keys before you go back to Gallifrey. And I figured it out, just extrapolated on how long it took me to get one key when I finally was able to get one on the easiest setting. it would be about 3 hours and 45 minutes to play this game right through. And most of it is just sitting there doing nothing.
And
I'm
how many
surprised
times
this ever
do you
went
hear
on
Country
sale.
Roads?
How did you do that wipe that we just saw there on the video?
Yeah, I like your clock thing.
Yeah, that's just my editing. I just did that to jump forward in time. Jump
You know,
because
a
I
game
didn't
this
want you to
poor,
have
Nick,
to
they
sit
spent all their time writing machine language routines to do that wipe effect.
But if you looked at that wipe, the diagonal line was very smooth. I thought,
yeah, because it's
you
done by
haven't got
modern.
those characters, yeah.
That's just
That's because it's done by
has
my modern
elapsed.
nothing. That's just to
Yeah,
show the
yeah.
passing of time as
Yeah.
I sat there and
That's to
played
skip
this game
the
for you
7
guys.
minutes of it playing Country Roads again, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it needs. It starts out slowly and then wipes around quicker. And then you'll know.
And then I looked at the 4 games that are available from Mike Snyder on one of his disc compilations there, which are actually
these are quite different games. Like they're all Doctor Who
Yeah.
themed, but they're completely different play-wise.
they're all
right?
completely different, except that they all tie together in that having talked to or gotten a comment from Mike on my video here, that there's each of the first 3 games has a password when you beat it to play the 4th game.
And he's got them all in one disc, or did you make this little?
That's all on one
compilation?
disc. So that is available from his website.
And have you played all 4 of them now?
I've played.
Like you only
well,
had 3 in the video.
No, I had all 4.
Oh, did you? Okay.
The 4th
Was
one,
there
I
a
just
favorite of yours?
The first one probably.
So fast
I
forward,
mean,
so
they're
you just
all
skip it.
completely different styles of games.
Skip directions. That's from wussies.
So in this one, in stage 1, you're doing this where you. Now, unfortunately, you only have 1 life in each of these games, so it's very hard to beat them. But yeah, so you've got to shoot those things and get up to 500 points before you'll get onto stage 2. I've never made it to stage 2. So you're escaping everything in a stolen Cyberman jet, and you're going back to the TARDIS. So in stage 2, you would be back in the TARDIS. But I never got that far. And then in the second game, it's actually more of an adventure game. You're wandering around an island collecting things to beat the Daleks. So you're just that little guy up there, and you're going from house to house asking for help, basically.
Oh, I like that wipe for the overlay window. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that
Daleks?
was done. I didn't do
Is that a
that one,
copyright?
Nick.
That's the other guy's
Right, okay.
clock animation. Okay.
Yeah, that's his clock animation. That's Mike's clock animation.
Yeah, that's all right.
So this is the second game, and then the third game is another. It's kind of
forward.
Yeah. This is probably the worst one of the bunch because you can just fast forward a little bit more to get to the actual gameplay, because I'm just yapping on here. But it's very blinky, so it's really hard to play. So you basically
Is that your
gotta-
shadow? Like you're hovering in the air?
Yeah, that's your shadow. You're flying over this landscape, and you have to shoot those blinky asteroids. And you can't miss any of them, because if you miss one, it kills you. If it hits you, it kills you.
Like playing football on an Atari.
Yeah.
Nothing is there. You're shooting it where it might be or used to be, or
And
Pretty
this is
much.
also a compiled basic program.
Yeah, I think the whole series is.
And then
Now,
on the
is there a
fourth-
height control? Like, is the shadow there because you have to determine the height of the thing you're shooting to? or-
No, I think he just, I don't know, you'd have to ask Mike, but it's
Just
yeah,
in a
you're just it's 2-dimensional. That's just to give
Okay.
it that 3-dimensional look. I think you're eventually going to be flying over a city.
Now, one thing I think you mentioned to me in private is that you have to complete the previous game to start the next one because it gives you a password or something. Is that right?
The first 3 games, beating them will give you passwords to play the 4th game. So
Oh, okay.
if you actually look at the 4th game, you can play the first level on the 4th game, but that's it. So it asks you for a password, and then because I didn't have any of the passwords, I can only play the entrance maze.
Oh, so there's more to this game, but
Yeah.
That's a fast timer.
It is a very fast timer. But yeah, so because I had no passwords, this is the only one I could play.
So you have to escape the maze? Is that what you're supposed to do here?
I guess I didn't play too much on it because it's a maze game. I'm assuming you have to get to the TARDIS or whatever, probably that blue box that you saw on the one screen.
And Mike's in the chat here. He says, no, it's just a shadow, no height. On the fourth game, you can play level 1, but there are additional levels you can only unlock with those passwords. I don't remember the passwords, sadly. I'm sure we can go figure them out. And then he says, yeah, you're supposed to speedrun the maze. It wasn't very inspired or fun. He just scrags himself in his own reviews of his own games all the time. That's amazing.
Well, it was a lot more fun than the first Doctor Who game. I'll put it that way, Mark.
Oh yeah, that especially with the country roads thing. Holy crap! What were they thinking?
So it played country roads through twice at the beginning while the instructions were on. You had to sit through that. Then it took 3 minutes to render the entire game. And then
there's not that much to it. There's like semi-graphics scrolling up like every single car race game we all wrote in BASIC, and then a TARDIS that draws really slow. That's pretty well.
And whenever you get a key, you had to sit through country roads again.
Wow. That can't be how they released it. I just can't see that. We should look for a game review of that in Rainbow or something, because that nobody would make you sit through 3.5 minute song every time you get a key.
Well, it wasn't a 3, and it was like about a 60-second version.
Just enough to be good and irritating, right?
Yeah.
Well, 60 seconds is way too much. You wouldn't sit there for a minute.
Right. But we used to do that back in the day to pad out the runtime. Yes.
I never did. Not that long.
Well, you were good.
My graphics took that long to draw as it was. I wasn't going to make it worse.
You didn't even make it
The 4 parts of Doctor Who, that actually does look interesting. Like the gameplay on each of the parts is completely different from the previous one, so that looks cool. You actually have some different things to do. And the whole password system to be able to unlock all the stuff at the 4th level, that's pretty cool too. So that might have to be a game on challenge. You may have to do a game on challenge of the whole series as one episode, see how far people can get sometime in the future.
I was thinking about that. Then we could kind of play a group game where we all try to beat one of the games to get the password. Or
and then everybody can kind of like
levels.
Try level 4 then in its full extent once people have gotten that far.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up, the Amigos recorded their special Christmas episode where they actually did 2 Christmas-themed games. And the ones they picked there are fairly recent releases, actually, because as we found out trying to find them, there's not that many CoCo-related games for the CoCo. There's a couple, basic publication ones. Rainbow had one, I think. CCN might have had one. But they're pretty bad. Like, they were not really all that playable. And they weren't really themed for a high score thing. So what they decided to pick instead was Ghost Rush, the Winter Edition, and Timberman, the Christmas Edition. And I thought this was kind of cute. I'm not going to play the review. If you guys want to see the review of the 2 games, you can go watch the video on their YouTube channel or on their Twitch channel. But the intro to the show, they actually played some Christmas music generated by the CoCo, which is not part of what the screen here. It's a separate program. They just overdubbed over top. But it actually has the Radio Shack CoCo 3 Christmas demo from December of 1986 after the CoCo's release, written by Spectral Associates on behalf of Tandy. So I thought I'd play a little bit of that to get a little bit of Christmas music spirit going here, as well as the Christmas CoCo 3 demo in case some of you haven't seen that already. And it's sped up a bit. The graphics on the actual demo are a little bit slower than this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're walking fast.
I know this was a lot slower on the original.
Yeah.
The Brent's comment about this whole sequence was pretty epic.
Oh yeah, what did he say? It was something about Santa has to go pay for the...
Yeah, he has to go buy a CoCo 3 for Christmas.
Oh, and throw it in his sleigh and take off.
So it's like the elves are, eBay flippers going and take all these CoCos and then run them off the Radio Shack. Santa has to buy one? Terrible.
Maybe it was a warranty replacement he was waiting to pick up. I don't know.
I don't know about the warranty replacement. I'm kind of worried about that cat.
Yeah, you just ignored that mouse that ran by.
Yeah, I saw the mouse go across. I thought, did the mouse kill the cat?
That's the cat. The cat, unfortunately, rather looks dead.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I've got a cat. When it's sleeping, that's pretty well what they all look like. So,
And especially in front of a warm fire. That
fireplace,
cat,
yes. A sunbeam, a warm fire. They're comatose.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the ashes. It's like the black bits around it, like that look like.
Yeah, it
ashes.
looks like its guts are out.
I think
they
that's
should've.
supposed to be a shadow, or that
Yeah,
could
that's
be
the
like
shadow.
cookie crumbs or something. Because they ate Santa's treats or something. I don't know.
They should have animated the cat where it would sit up, clean itself, and then turn over the other way.
That
Or
also
at
could
least-
be a whole bunch of hairballs coughed up too. I don't know.
That is true.
So what was the idea of the mouse?
They have this thing. This two Spectral Associates demos for the CoCo 3, the original launch one, as well as this one, both tried to put in little cute things in the background, so you didn't get bored just looking at advertisement and stuff.
Also,
So if you look at the
Twas
original
Night Before
CoCo 3 one,
Christmas.
you'll see a guy walking his dog left to right through the window while showing off Deskmate and Interbank Incident and stuff on the screen. And then you'll suddenly see the dog tearing across by itself with a leash trailing behind. Then the guy comes chasing after it because he basically lost his dog. So Spectral just seemed to put these little cutesy things in there.
Right.
Remember also in the tale "Twas the Night Before Christmas," there's mentions a mouse as well, so kind of has a historical.
Yep, that's true
Supposed to
too.
be a mouse.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
And,
Get
and
away
fun
from this
fact, that's
donut cat.
that's the most famous poem ever written by an American, and this year is its 200th anniversary.
Wow, 200 years.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
I just learned that about a week ago.
Also, don't you guys find it odd that all these Christmas presents are wrapped up nicely so that you can tear it open to figure out what you're getting for Christmas? Yet this one's actually labeled Tandycolor Computer 3.
That's the box.
It's so that's the first one you open.
Didn't have time to wrap it properly.
Yeah, just threw a bow and some ribbon and done. That's how I would normally wrap presents, or just put them in a paper bag or something. But anyway, it's a fun time going through the two games, and they're both casual games, very quick episodes. I think we played both of them or derivatives of both of them. I think already on the Game On Challenge, right, Ken?
Yeah.
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the ones that you guys can actually give your own reviews and even comment on their YouTube channel. Now they are planning on doing a kind of a summary Christmas special. They're going to be doing that for all the shows, ARG, the Atari ST show, the CoCo show, etc. Basically, they're getting people that are involved in their Discord to vote on what their favorite game on the particular platform was, and also what was one of the worst moments on the show as well. And I submitted, they had so many good games on this year on the CoCo show that I could not pick one single one. So I had to pick 3. And I don't know what they're going to do with that, but that's what I did. Jim Rice says, couldn't afford wrapping paper after paying for the CoCo 3. I don't know if that's true. The CoCo 3 was actually pretty cheap at launch. It was $219 US, $329 Canadian. I don't know what it was in Australia, Nick, probably $399 or $379 or something.
Yeah, I seem to recall 450 actually, but that might have been a package.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it was just $329 for a 128K model. in
So
Canada.
yeah, I think so.
And then by the end, they were selling for like $89.99 US.
What, when they were getting rid of them?
Yeah. Well, they had a couple, I think, Christmas sales, not the first Christmas, but I think the second or third Christmas afterwards. I think they dropped to $99, then they bumped it back up. But basically, it dropped from $219 to $199 as the permanent quote unquote price. But they had, back to school sales and Christmas sales and stuff where they dropped it further.
Well, here in the States, at least, they were heavy to push the CM8 plus CoCo. So they really shoved the price of those two down low, although the CoCo by itself never really got that cheap. I remember that distinctly because I always didn't quite have the money for the CM8 and the CoCo at the same time, but that would have been the sweet deal. So
$99. Is that for a CoCo 3 or a CoCo 2?
yeah, CoCo 3 and the CM8 was what Tandy tried to sell as their sale. They never really pushed the price of the CoCo 3 down, but the combo
They did a
got
couple
really
times because
cheap.
I did find one of their sales flyers from the States that actually had it listed at $99.
Yeah, but is that a CoCo 3 or a CoCo 2?
3.
Well, that's a 3 eventually, but when I really lusted for one, I could never get. They would never put just the CoCo on sale, specifically. You had to get a CM8 with it to really make it your money.
Yeah, and the CM8s I saw, they like, what were they normally, $299?
Yeah, but
and
you
I
could
did
both
see
of
a
them
few
for
times they were on
$299.
sale for $100 off, and then the CoCo was on sale at the same time, so you could pick up a pretty decent bundle.
So the big deal was $299 for the CM8 and the CoCo 3, and those came up all the time, and I never quite had the $300.
Yeah, Wayne Campbell saying he paid $199 for his CoCo 3, and that price drop came, I think, actually the second year, like 1987. I think is when they dropped it from $219 to $199. All right, couple of good reviews there. A lot of fun as usual there, and of course they've got their other kind of year wrap-up thing where they'll be, taking votes from people as to what the best games were, and what the, either worst game or worst moments were. And I did submit a few things there. I think Alan, you did too. If Alan's still on here. Oh, Brian's here, so I'm going to stop because Brian's on a time crunch.
Please continue. Please continue until you're done.
I just finished that particular story, so it's perfect timing if you want.
Nope.
Yeah, no, we want to get rid of him. No, we want to get rid of him.
He needs a minute, he's saying.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so I'll finish the game on news because just got a few left. Okay, next up, Chronologically Gaming has started into September of 1982 now, and the first CoCo game to appear was Bridge Tutor by Tandy. And they do have a fairly short review of it, basically because it's a card game. It's probably not that exciting to watch. They show also the sales flyer here where they actually got some stuff on sale, like Bust Out's on for $14.97, normally $30 for a cart, and Bridge Tutor's still $35. So, but that one he mentions, like the manual is huge. It does literally teach you to play bridge. It's not just how do you play bridge on a CoCo. It's how to actually learn the card game itself. So,
and that's difficult because I've been learning for a few years.
Yeah, I think he said the manual's like 40 or 50 pages or something like that. It's for a game from Tandy. That's pretty big.
Oh, worthy of Hoyle?
I never saw that shooting gallery.
Really? That's one of Steve's, I think.
No, those colors don't look the same.
Well, not for Pal. You'd be seeing a bunch of stripes.
I don't think he saw that even on
on a real CoCo. This is one of the games that actually had the extra artifact colors, not just the pure 4. So it had all the yellows, the purples, the greens, etc. It has the cross-hatched style dithered look, so it actually does show some more colors. Same as Castleguard did, actually. Both these two
green background.
That's wrong. That's just their fake screen thing. It's white.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a couple of pretty good games coming up later on for September of 1982. This is when the CoCo started to get some of the more advanced games. I think there was a few outliers. We had some pretty good advanced ones like Astro Blast and a few others before, but this is when it starts to really come out. And there's a whole flurry of Tandy ones that come out in that particular month too. So look for those. This is a continuation on from last week, a gaming channel by LRU, where he tries to get his best scores on various CoCo and Dragon games. There wasn't anything really new added to the CoCo, but he did add a few new ones here that he played on the Dragon. So he has Barmy Burgers, which is I think it's a basic or compiled basic version of Burger Time, basically. So it's kind of like lunchtime, except a lot slower. But well done. For a basic game, it's actually pretty decent. Cosmic Clones, which is a Mark Data Products game, and Crazy Painter by the Cornsoft Group, which is actually a cross-platform. I think they did that for the Model 1 and 3, too, if I remember correctly. But if you want to see some gameplay videos from those particular games there, too. Barmy Burgers is not one we've seen too often up here, so I don't know if that one's been translated to the CoCo yet or not. Probably has, but I haven't seen it. And then the last is just his general channel, because he has a whole bunch of games and he jumps back and forth. He doesn't stick with one platform for like 3 weeks and then go on to the next one. He's just all over the place. So if you're into retro gaming at all, or even some more modern gaming, like you'll see Xbox 360 here, but he's actually got all these playlists, including Real Hardware, the Bandai Wonder Swan, and then, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to pick, your favorite console, your favorite home computer, he's bound to have it on here. All the way back to like the Fairchild Channel F, which predates the Atari 2600. But he's also got a special one for the CoCo, and he's got a special one for the Dragon 32/64 as well. So if you're interested in gaming, there's actually a lot of cool videos to see on here. And that's it for the Game On news. Brian, are you ready or are you still working on it?
You guys want to take a potty break? That should give me just enough time.
Commercial break?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, I need a second.
Hello, this is Mark Siegel, product manager for the Color Computer product line and designer of the Tandy Color Computer 3. And I'm proud to be a citizen of the CoCo Nation.
Shall we play a game?
Making games for the CoCo for over 35 years. Go to my CoCo Games website at www.nickmarentes.com for information and pricing of my later games, as well as downloads of many of my older games.
CoCo 2's got personality, lots of practicality, fun, it's sensational, learn it's educational. CoCo 2's expandable, so easily commendable. It's programmable, so term exam grammable. Just you and CoCo 2 do what you want to do.
CoCo 2, the color computer with personality from Radio Shack. Sale price for Christmas giving from $149.95.
Radio Shack's CoCo 2, do what you want to do. Just you and CoCo 2.
All right, next up we have Weasler's Warehouse. Where'd Brian go?
Yeah, where's Brian?
Brian, did he turn
We
his video
lost-
off?
We lost Brian.
I'm here.
It's going to be a short show.
No,
He had,
just,
to, he had to back in the semi truck there.
right.
Fell off the dock door. And
Oh, well, thank you guys. I just wanted to sneak in here for a little while and share a few things with you. The first thing I was going to show you was a couple machines here. There was a guy that was selling some couple computers, and I got to chatting with him, and he had some other hardware, and I ended up buying quite a bit from him actually. But here's some of the equipment that I got from him. This guy actually, what he does for a living is he buys abandoned storage units, and he's normally not even looking for retro stuff. He most of the stuff he sells out of the storage units are things that you might find like at a thrift store, those type of things. And so he normally doesn't even, he's actually, he said in 7 years of doing thrift stores, this is the first time he's had anything Radio Shack. So he was selling a couple of things, and most everything I'm going to show you here today, I believe, except for one item, I believe, all kind of came from this group of things that he had there. So let me go ahead and switch cameras, and we can talk about the first one here.
So you haven't admitted that you have a problem yet, or joined that 12-step
No.
program.
No,
You're still in
sorry.
denial, Brian.
Still in denial. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. Try to keep my hands off the desk there.
It's got a
to
dust
avoid-
cover on it.
Yes, it does. Okay, so this one came with a dust cover. There we go.
It was either that or it was out of focus.
Right?
I remember those dust covers.
Yeah, so this came with a dust cover here, and as I'm moving this around and kind of showing you, let me know if you guys see anything unusual about this color computer. So I'll go ahead and take the cover off of it. It's a little yellowed. It looks a lot better on the camera.
It's a
than-
later version of the dust cover because it says Tandy instead of Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Right.
Indicator. Yep. So that's one thing there. So, but
There's
here's the
something written
computer
on there.
itself. Had a little sticker on here with a looks like a poke that he had in an EXE that was on the label here.
Yeah, the XE is a cartridge port ROM. I can't see what the poke is.
Seven
Well, the badge is an old badge.
It is the Radio
4K.
Shack badge, yeah.
The poke is 71341 dash.
That doesn't even make sense. Like that'd be
456.
2-1 maybe or something.
Maybe it's a 2-1 or something. Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be 7, would it? That's too
No.
high. Yeah, that's way too high. We don't have that big of a machine there. So anyway,
72K.
I'm not sure. He just had an EXE on there. So, but as I'm moving around, there's
Where's the power cord?
where's the power cord, Mark?
Oh,
asks?
right.
Where is the power cord? That's interesting. Yes.
That is a problem.
There's your
Is
problem.
that a switch?
Oh, it's got a DC jack.
He got a DC
Oh,
jack
okay,
that
that's a
this guy
jack.
put onto it.
Oh,
So,
old Coco.
so this was actually with it. And aside from this horrible looking Commodore logo on this thing,
Some chicken lips.
that's right.
Frank's going to be livid in the chat now.
Chicken
This is whoops. There we go. Let me hold this in the right spot here. This
There you
this
go.
was with it. So let me go ahead and take the cover off here, and we'll take a look inside. And a lot of the things you'll see here, whoever the owner of this storage unit was, this guy must have been quite a tinkerer, and you'll see here as we go through some of this here.
Wow.
So you can see here the transformer is gone, and he put a little homemade circuit board here with a power regulator on there. Let's see if I can move the keyboard out of here. There we go. Another little power regulator hiding underneath here. And then he just has the
Oh.
wires going in and tapping at the appropriate spots to give the different voltages that were needed here. So
Pretty
I haven't
well
had
hidden.
chance. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to power this up or anything yet, but I'm assuming it probably
Oh.
all.
Blue smoke.
Nope. I
So the
haven't-
Commodore supply is an AC supply at a lower voltage, is it? Does it say AC 12 volts or whatever rather than DC? Because I bet he's doing the 8-volt AC and everything.
9 volts. I always get these confused a little bit. So it's 9.5. It's the line with the dashes underneath it. Is that DC?
DC. That's DC.
See,
Yeah, DC. I always get that
Oh,
confused a little bit.
okay.
So he's putting 9.5 into this thing.
Did the CoCo 2 use an AC voltage?
Yes, it did for all the analog stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
a 5-volt Coco would run the digital stuff just fine, but the cassette's messed up and things like that.
I
So,
wonder if he's got like a switching power supply in there to get you your different
well,
rails, because it
if
looks
if
like
he
a-
has, if he's taking 9.5 DC, then he can do all the other stuff with what I see there. So that's probably just, it's a 5-volt Coco using whatever voltage you can cram in, and the Commodore is fine. Also, a lot of other supplies would be fine as long as you've got enough DC voltage to linear down to 5. So say 7 volts and up.
The only thing
Well,
I could,
'cause-
and I don't see anything really that he damaged anything yet, because you can see where the lugs were, where the AC would have been. There's ground over here that he tapped into.
Right.
There is one resistor going right here, and the resistor is not labeled in any way. You know, like the other components, there's a silk screen related to it. So I don't know if
I
he
think
added
that
this.
was a fact. I think that's a factory mod.
So that's not like a factory thing. Okay.
Cool.
So, But like I said, I haven't had a chance to fire it up yet to see if this thing, if it works. But yeah, I know I bought it. I didn't notice it in the pictures because you didn't have the greatest pictures there. There was something else that I kind of noticed that was interesting, but this one kind of jumped out at me there a little bit after I saw it. So,
well, you know, he knew what he was doing because he put the screws in the baggie under the keyboard.
oh, that's my doing. That's sorry.
Oh,
that's
okay. Well, then you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Baggie under the
Well,
keyboard.
and he must have lost the original ones because these are not your regular.
Oh, they
Radio
aren't
Shack.
gold. Yeah.
Nope, these are, and they're actually a blade, not a Phillips, and they're pointy, not the flat bottom. Excuse me. So, but look, good thing he didn't have long enough one, or they were too long, and
Well,
you know how they
he
put the little
knew
dimple
better.
in.
Yeah, there's no dimples in the top, right? Or
Right.
holes in this case.
So yeah, that was this first one here that that was in the group there. I'll go ahead and slide this in here, and I'll get this one out of the way, and I'll slide in the next one. Here's my cover. Okay, let's set this guy over here. Okay, our next one. And this one has a cord, so no giveaways there yet. So,
I've
and
got
this one also had a dust cover on it as well. Yep, and the Tandy one, as Curtis pointed out.
and a newer badge.
Yep, might be a true lowercase one.
This is the Tandy here.
Wait, there's
Yeah,
more?
this is a 27B.
Sweet.
So very likely that it does have the chip on there. He had a whole bunch of little pokes here in the corner. Again, nothing really unusual on the outside here that you can see. You know, your regular stuff there. But let's flip it over. Anybody see anything yet?
Oh, what's that
Serial
for?
port.
Well, what's the port by there?
Stick in there.
Yeah, what did he do there? Let's find out.
Serial or parallel is my guess.
So let's find out what he did here. Nothing too obvious yet. Let me go ahead and move the keyboard here. Still really can't see too much, but let me lift
Oh,
it.
you put screws in a bag.
Yeah.
And chopped it a bit. What the heck?
Little bit of wires here, and these ribbon wires go between the circuit board and your RF shield that's on the bottom there.
Okay, sneaking out.
Okay. So this was also with it. And I think this will give us our giveaway here of what this guy did.
Nice, neat job of everything.
Is that a keyboard adapter?
A keyboard adapter.
Keyboard
So
adapter.
I don't think he got around to put it into a box. So there's a keyboard edge here and a joystick port. And here's another
Extension cable.
extension, and this was with it then. So
I bet you he built a external keyboard. I did one of those years back where all I did was just extend it out.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So this was
Talk
an
about your
external
hand drawn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's it say?
CoCo remote keyboard, 628 of 87. Charles Thurston. Anybody know
The
Charles
dude
Thurston?
Drew this
Mr.
in
Howe.
study hall at high school.
That's yeah, could be.
So Charles Thurston was the guy that did this here. So yeah, so this is I'm not sure if he was doing some other things over here because these wires go to nothing. Maybe he was going to do like a remote reset button as well, possibly. But he could do a remote keyboard and a remote mouse. So that's really the only mod on this one. Now there is this cable here that's kind of coming out and it's wrapped around here and it's not going anywhere. I wonder if maybe he intended, because it's just 2 wires, which is all you would have needed for the reset button.
Twist it together and see what happens.
Yeah, right. See what happens. So
technically you only need one more wire for the reset button because one of the wires is in the keyboard matrix.
right, would be ground and stuff like that, and you just have to take it to ground, I think is all the reset does, right? Does it take it to ground?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
So
he would have had an empty case somewhere that he would have mounted a keyboard into.
Or some little nice keyboard box.
Probably
thing.
a power
I had a
LED
little,
too.
I made a little tin box to go under a CoCo keyboard that really looked good on the desktop. I could see doing that.
I had a CoCo 3 that was heavily modified that had a similar thing going on, and it was just the keyboard was mounted to a block of wood.
Yeah. Because it's nice and flat and sits down flat on your desktop without that extra height. And yeah.
Isn't that what Frank Swagger did with his? Didn't he have the wooden keyboard?
Probably we all stole from each other. So
I don't know if you guys remember at the CoCo Fest last year in the auction, there was like a double-sided keyboard where someone had taken a board and mounted 2 different keyboards on each side.
Really?
Let's flip it over and it's IBM or something.
Yeah, like a flippy keyboard.
Oh, interesting.
Was one of them clicky and one of them like linear?
No, I think one was a CoCo and one was like an IBM keyboard or something.
Right. So you have the teletype layout and the typewriter layout both in the same unit. You just flip it over, and so the quotes over the 2 or the ats over the 2. Take your pick.
I always thought these boards were kind of interesting because a lot of times we find the processor over here near the ROM cartridge, and here you got the processor here and the memory is over here. I'm sure, I don't know if it's about efficiency. I mean, this would have been later in the CoCo 2.
Yeah, this is when they had the option for the 8-chip RAM upgrade, the 2-chip RAM upgrade, the little satellite board RAM upgrade.
Yep, you can see your connectors right there and stuff. So yeah. But anyway, I was understanding that the processor was all the way over here, but yeah.
Right.
So okay, yeah, that's really the only thing is the remote keyboard with this one here. So let me go ahead and lay this stuff back together.
That's a decoy keyboard you put in the top there.
Okay, let's see here. Let me find a spot for this one. That's
You
out of
didn't
the
even
way.
put the dust cover on straight.
Oh, I know. So sad. All about the details. Okay. Let's see here. And then there's this one. And this one's really yellow. Melty keyboard one.
Ooh, seems fine.
With some vent holes.
Must have a fan in there.
Speed vents.
Definitely not Canadian unless there's a mesh behind that.
Ron is actually the one who's warm right now with this one.
It was a stick-on fan.
A stick-on fan.
Oh, okay. That hung over the side. Yeah.
Like the one called the CoCo Cooler, I think was the commercial.
The CoCo Cooler. So yes, you guys are probably seeing this one, right?
Yeah, you can see the adhesive.
Yeah.
Here's the
version.
CoCo Cooler. The CoCo Cooler 1 that was used for the color computer one. This would fit the profile of the right. And so there was a commercials for a CoCo Cooler 2 that looks like this.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I have been looking for one of these for 4 years. And
Sweet.
I have never ever seen one. I've never seen a picture of one.
What a beak.
Yeah, look at a beak on that
Yeah,
one. So,
yeah.
so let me slide this
What a
over a little
piece
bit
of
here. This thing's got,
Aftermarket hardware.
it would have got
Schmacker
like,
in there, and
it would sit like this right here. I was so excited.
Wow.
The guy sent me a picture, and this is all that was in there. Was you saw this picture, like you saw this, and I saw this tape, and I'm like, I wonder. I said, I bet
I know
money.
why them holes are there.
And I saw this here, and I asked the guy. I messaged him back. I said, "Is there like a fan type thing? It'd be black, probably would be anywhere there." And he's like, "No, nothing there." And I'm like, "Dang, it must have gotten thrown away, lost." Because, like I said, this is a storage unit that the guy bought. A month and a half later, he sent me a picture and he said, "Is this what you're looking for?" And he sent me a picture of this, and I said, "Yes." I about wet my pants, and
Right?
I was so excited when I saw this picture here. And he told me the story. He was finishing going through the storage unit, and he was on the last box. And the last box, he said he just about tossed the whole thing. The box was full of clothes, and this was laying in the bottom of the box covered with clothes. So it came so close to going like either maybe to the Goodwill or whatever, because he said he gets rid of a lot of stuff. But he saw a cord, and he lifted the clothes out, and this was underneath there.
What's it say on the top?
It just says warning. Fan must be on while computer is operating.
Because we covered up all the vent holes, so you better have this thing.
Right. Exactly. Right. And there is a sticker on the inside right here. I won't try to focus in for you guys to read it though. It was loose. I used just a smear of Elmer's glue on my finger, but it says CoCo Cooler 2, and it was kind of interesting how they spelled it. It's TOO. So CoCo Cooler 2, manufacturer was REM Industries, Chatsworth, California. So
What's the
And
white
keep
thing
your
on the
fingers
back?
out of here.
right.
So
So
a couple of
What's the white thing on the back?
it's the
Power
switch to turn it.
switch.
yeah, turn it on. Yeah.
Turn it on and
So
off.
some good spelunking by two people to realize that these ugly holes meant that was covered up by something.
Right.
and,
Well, and
and
I'm
the guy
guessing-
to say, "Oh yeah, he was looking for a stick-on thing." And yeah.
Now the
that
interesting
worked out
thing is that
nicely.
when the fan runs, it's drawing the air in. So
Right.
the air would
Yeah.
have been drawn into these fans here, and the vents on the
Well,
bottom, and then
no
it
longer
pulls it up
apply.
through here, and
Sucks them out, yeah.
and then exhausts it through here. So yep, as Nick is saying there, yep. But I mean, just the molding here, it's kind of probably hard to focus on here, but there's just a littlest little dimple right here, or where it goes down, and it fits the little recess right here. I mean, the thing fits like a glove. I mean, they did a really nice job when they made this thing. I mean, it just stays right there. Now I got rid of the double-sided tape was on it. It was like cracked and
Right,
brittle.
right.
So I
Isn't
did
it-
go ahead and take that off of there though, but
What you need is some Velcro.
Totally unnecessary.
right, yeah, some Velcro. Yeah, I mean it actually does it has enough weight
Oh, you
to
could
it.
just
and
stick it on and it just stays. Eh?
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
it'll buzz though.
Yep, actually
A
it just
magnet.
Yeah, a magnet, there you go, or something. Yeah.
Magnet, Velcro dot, something, just so
Yeah,
that
the
it
one that's-
doesn't buzz.
Yeah, the magnet that's holding your floppy disk to the wall.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, there you go. So yeah, I was
you
very
don't need the
excited.
disc there anymore.
I'd
That's
never
cool.
seen
It
a-
came together like that.
Yep. But yeah, I mean the story's kind of neat behind it, and I was so excited. I've been looking for a CoCo Cooler 2 for quite a while, so it was nice to get one of these.
Now,
there.
now for you hardware guys out there, Ron had a good question. Is this actually necessary? Because I never had fans in my CoCo 1 or 2. So, if you had a 256K, banker upgrade
Yeah.
or something, I could definitely see it. But
Right,
for a
right.
standard one,
Well,
was it really necessary? Maybe in hot climates or something?
I grew up in Dallas and didn't have air conditioning, and yeah, this would have worked well there.
It was
I
definitely
had
helpful.
issues.
Yeah, definitely
Well-
helpful if you don't have air conditioning.
And that would work on a CoCo 3, which
Yeah.
would get hotter because that's
so,
what the RAMs are.
Yeah.
Right, right. It made up for not having the best symbol.
Yeah.
In other words.
Because
You
it'll
had a
fit in the
Tandy
same spot.
512 board.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, this would fit nice over a 3, as you guys were just mentioning there, and that would certainly help draw some air off those off the toaster oven. So
Yeah.
I
Sucks
wonder if
more.
it's recommended if you have a mesh in there.
right.
It pulls the coins up against the mesh and keeps them off the chips. So you're
There you
good.
go. So yeah, the CoCo Cooler 2. I'd
Nice.
never seen one. So
Find a good box to store it in, or that snout will be broken off.
oh yeah, right. Let's see here. So this computer that I just showed you, the one with the holes in it, when I received it, something that wasn't in the picture was this thing. Has anybody seen this type of thing before?
Is that part of the fan?
This was
What
in the
did you-
ROM cartridge port.
Oh, just to block. Oh, because the fan would suck all the air, maybe,
Nope.
and
I
whistle
kept the door open.
Nope. It's
What's
a
it do?
it's a separate thing there. So let me do this here. Maybe this will help. I'm going to tip it on its side.
Is for a reset.
So it holds the door open, but keeps the thing sticking, the
There's a
fingers
slot.
sticking out.
It's a reset, so you don't have to reach back.
Nope. So what you can't probably read right
Oh,
here.
that's for a bare circuit board.
Yep, it's called the Super Guide.
Oh, so it doesn't droop. You don't have to stick a Raspberry Pi box under the thing that sticks out of your CoCo.
There you go. Can you? Oh, there you go. Can you guys see it there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Guide. There we go. And this was with it. And this was made by a company. I did a little search in Rainbow. I didn't check anybody. I only found one thing in Rainbow, and it was actually part of a hardware review. I found no ads. And it was called the Super Guide, and they made 2 different boards. Now I happen to have the expander. It's kind of abbreviated,
Okay.
spelled XPNDR 2. That's what the review is on. This one here, it's kind of hard to see here in the packaging, but this is the XPNDR 1, kind of along the same lines. But you can see here that I think it was
like it.
Jason said. So this, you would slide this into the ROM port.
So it's the snout of the cartridge without all the rest of it.
like
and you've
that.
got this, yeah. So your board lines
Right.
up, and you have a cartridge snout without the top and the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, it keeps the door open too.
Keeps the door open so you
Yeah,
can slide this in there. So I
see-
thought that was kind of cool.
That is
Yeah.
very cool.
We have the
Who
only one
wants to
in
3D
existence.
print them?
Doesn't stop you from putting it in upside down though.
No, it would not prevent you from, unless the
Well, yeah,
only thing
it
is
would.
because-
Yeah,
well-
look at the alignment. You can't put it in up. You've got to put your
Yeah, but the
cartridge
board-
in right.
But the board could be upside down.
Well, no, it
Only
wouldn't
if it's-
fit then.
only if it
The
has no
fingers.
components.
Yeah, the parts would be in the
The
way.
first capacitor would block
No,
it.
nothing would line up if you put it in wrong in any way. So that's a
Okay.
nice.
And that
design.
that would be easy to 3D print nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, 60 in the chat here is calling that a cartridge condom.
Oh,
Safe.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But I thought maybe it kept the door open so it was easier to stick pennies in there.
There you
patent pending though. So can we
Patent
print
pending.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
patent pending.
Yep.
Look out.
So I thought that was
if there's
like
a
I said, I didn't even
patent,
see
that means there are drawings, which means it's
Patent
easier to
search
3D print.
right. There we go. Yeah.
What's really nice about this at the time you couldn't do this. So without someone selling you something like this, it couldn't be done. I mean, you would have to, take a block of wood and prop your thing up.
Right.
It's like today, yeah, you just 3D print it, but at the
I mean,
time,
you could find some sheet plastic, take a Dremel to it, and then take
Yeah.
a
right,
heat
and
gun
you're a
and
little
bend
bit
it.
off center, and then you wreck one of your pins because the board's going in cockeyed. The 50th time you plug it in, you wreck your bus connect.
That's what jigs are for. Oh, come
But
on.
But somebody had to pay for a mold for that.
Right, which costs money.
Yeah. Thankfully, it looks like it's a simple molding job. So,
So it's only money, not money.
where are the ejector witness marks on that anyway?
Right. Well, good question. Little spot right there. It looks a little dull, so it might have been right here in these corners right here.
Okay, that's okay. So they went clampy on the short, not the wide.
The problem is that's only good for a board that you're building or whatever.
Yeah, it's a
Where do you put
prototype
the disc
thing,
controller?
Yeah, like that prototype board right there.
which
Yeah.
even in the
Yeah.
day was a small market. So
Well, let's see
Yeah.
here. Here's a JFD. Yeah, because you see here, this would be too
Oh,
narrow.
if
Yeah,
it is.
no,
That
it's-
doesn't fit.
his boards are bigger than a cartridge slot to make up for
Yep. So the development boards are a little bit wider. It fits the full width of the cartridge opening. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice idea.
Anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. And like I said, I didn't even see it in the pictures when he sent me the pictures of the with the holes and everything, the CoCo with the holes drilled into it. It wasn't until I received this and this had been left in the CoCo. So that was kind of
What's this thing?
right. And he said, he goes, there's a box of random stuff here too. I'll just throw that in the box. So he didn't even charge me for it. And this was just one of the items that he threw in there. So
So again, a kind of a luck things come together, and you've got a whole product that had been broken apart and for no good reason is now back
Right.
together.
And then that board, if I'm seeing it right, that actually has gold contacts too, doesn't it?
yeah,
Seems-
it's silver tracing here, but then gold right here. Oops. There we go.
Right? Lead gold traces, nicely done.
So just a basic dev board, where it got bus lines right here that you can tap into and stuff. So, yep. Okay. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but like I said, no ad. I just happened to find this this review in the Rainbow magazine. So it was the only thing I
Nice.
found on it. Okay, so let's see here. This could be the last thing here. I got other things I can show, but maybe we'll wrap this up with the last one. So a while back, I showed this that I got from Mr. Ron Delvaux.
Yep,
And,
the Numberjack, the accommodating thing for the HJL keyboard.
Yep.
Right?
And but we had no cable, and I was toying around with the idea of making a cable. Well, somebody in the community was posting some pictures of a computer that they bought, and that was Nathan Lockhart. He's on the Discord every once in a while, and he was working on a CoCo that he was having some trouble with, and I saw this ribbon cable in the picture, and I reached out to him, and we started chatting a little bit, and he sent me a picture, and this is what I saw. I saw this here where it said touchstone, and that was, as soon as I saw touchstone, I knew exactly what this was. If you look at the Numberjack ad in the like Rainbow, you'll see Touchstone was the name of the company that was making this for this HJL. So he had no use for it. The Numberjack wasn't there, so we organized a little trade. And you can see here it has the edge card connector on it, and then the adapter for their ribbon cable, and then on the other end is the another 16-pin plug, and it goes nicely right in there like that. And then this would fit down into the slot for, and of course this is this is a really thin PCB that's on there. So I haven't had a chance to try this. If you guys have a few minutes to entertain me, I have a CoCo 3 here that I can plug in, and we can hammer some keys out on this. Should we try it? See if it works?
Yeah,
I haven't tried it.
If that doesn't work, I'll eat something.
Put it through the keyboard, the remote keyboard thing. No, seriously, if the other machine works, plug in the remote keyboard thing and put that in that.
There
we got nothing but time. He's soldering that board right now.
Yeah, Bob's got many a joint to go. So
okay, let's see here.
Worst case,
that didn't sound right.
Plug it in my switcheroo there, made by
the adapter into the adapter
made by the
to the adapter
CoCoMan.biz.
to the adapter.
Yeah, I see you have a Wallaby cable there too.
Wallaby tool, yep.
Right,
Yep.
in case you need some more adapters on your adapters.
Just did my product placement, $20. Anyway, no.
There you go.
You know, some people buy those Wallaby cables just so they don't have to flip the CoCo 3 over, and they just leave it on there.
Let me make sure we got.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, so I
actually made a custom one for somebody that just has the one connection on it. I just want that one connection so I don't have to flip it over. I'm like, sure, I can do that.
How much are they?
Do
you sell those for?
Oh, I'd have to look. You know what? I don't remember. I'd have to look on my website at CoCoMan.biz.
So this would set in here in the CoCo just like this then, whether it's a
right
CoCo 1 or 2.
How do you know which way it goes?
I'm assuming it's going to go this way here towards just because of the arc of the ribbon cable. That's the way he had it, and the one he had, that's the way it was. So.
And if it doesn't, you must flip it around.
No, I'm going to
It's not hard.
I'm so nervous about breaking that thin PCB. I think I'm going to go ahead and attach this to this first, and then I'll.
It does take a shockingly thin piece of circuit board to fit.
Don't worry if
socket.
you break the keyboard. Pat's here.
And just I wanted to make sure I got the right answer for you, Nick. And the Wallaby cable was $10 US.
All right.
Before postage and all that stuff.
That's quite reasonable.
Doesn't Nick have enough Wallabies where he's at? Oh, wrong type of Wallaby.
No, Wallaby cable, not Wallaby.
Wallaby cable with the Y capitalized.
There we go. So it's set in the CoCo.
You need to Dremel the side of the CoCo 3.
Well, yeah, I don't know where this would exactly get routed. I'm just going to leave it where it's at right now. Let's see here now. Let me do this here.
We don't put covers on these things anyway.
Right?
Right. You don't clamp it down, even if you put it on.
Whose color computer has screws in them that aren't just in a little baggie on the inside
set
there?
the top loosely on, and it's fine.
Okay,
Gravity
so
keeps it on.
I got numbers on the regular keyboard. Let's see what we got here.
Can I just tell you there's no warranty on that?
Nope. Okay, I'm not getting a 4 here, so
flip the dip cable, and if that doesn't work, flip the whole thing around, because you can't hurt anything. All you can do is fail.
Yep. Oh, that's weird. Now I'm getting R's on the screen.
I'm
getting J's.
Maybe it's pirated.
Okay, so it's upside down both ends.
Upside down both ends.
Yeah, I wonder if the ribbon. So does the regular keyboard work properly?
Yes.
It's
In
a
all
spin
respects?
3/4 USB thing.
Yeah, so you must have that end right.
So it's got to be the other end of the ribbon from the number jack. Is that adjustable?
That's upside down.
You swapped it.
I can see. Yeah.
So you're saying
flip the
I'm
plug over.
surprised it's not keyed.
That end, can that end flip over?
It's not pushed
Ken?
in all the way.
Because there's only a couple of combinations here, and that would be one of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this and flip
So
it
it needs to
over
wrap-
this way.
Right out the back.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And I think that if I see that right, that lines the blank plug up with the blank pin.
Right, right. So now do you have numbers?
Okay. Let's see here. I turned the CoCo off here, so let me see here.
Riveting number keypad action.
Right.
There we go. Okay, so still got sixes on the I got numbers on the screen, so now I'm getting colons.
Okay, now flip the other one again.
Okay.
I think we all have colons.
Right, right. We hope so. Otherwise, it gets messy.
It could be a semicolon.
Well, then you got a cloth in your bag. So let's not
Now I
go
got
there.
nothing again. Interesting.
There will be a combination where this works.
I think we've just done them all.
I think we've gone through all of. Does it work with a
Well,
CoCo?
no,
3?
because you could flip the board where it goes into the motherboard. Because some keyboard things are double-sided, so that the keyboard will work either way. So it's possible that you could flip the into the original keyboard jack over.
Well,
and do
didn't you
things.
just do
But
that?
That's no,
Jason
no,
is-
not there. I mean, like if you look under the keyboard, the whole board that plugs in to the original keyboard jack on the CoCo motherboard can plug in either way depending on how they
Your adapter board.
Right.
right
Well,
the
the other thing-
original adapter.
The other thing too is Jason just made a good point too. Is the keyboard matrix for the CoCo 3 different than a 2?
No,
Nope.
No.
Exactly
No,
the same.
no
It just
way.
fills in 4 empty spots,
Okay.
Yeah,
as did
probably
the original HJL
reverse your
57 keyboard.
cable till you get the wrong keys, and then probably turn the board that's plugging into the.
So what I'm suggesting is if you look under the CoCo keyboard, the original thing that you plugged in can go in two different ways. The thing that plugs into the CoCo motherboard that we can't see can go in two different ways.
So the ribbon cable has got to hang all towards the back of the CoCo, not towards the
Well-
front. Mate.
Maybe.
You're talking
Well,
about
so
taking
yeah,
this and
if you
going-
unplug the ribbon cable and turn that board
Like I
around,
mentioned in the beginning.
Welcome to
maybe-
the troubleshooting section of our program.
right? Because all of this can work many
But
different ways. So,
will it
yeah, if
allow
you
it?
flip
'Cause
that one around?
The memory board's in the way.
Maybe not. If there's
We got to remember this was designed for a CoCo 1 and 2, not for a CoCo 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Put the
So I mean, as far as
layout.
layout with the memory board, that's different on a CoCo 3 compared to a CoCo 1 or 2.
because shouldn't the gap be to your left on the keyboard matrix? I believe that's true. If you look at the Mylar on a keyboard, the gap's on the left. So the gaps on your adapter board should be on the left and they're on the right. Now,
And that might not be right.
Well, there's no gap here though, but
well, but there was some place where it showed.
right. So pin number 3 right here, this goes to like a little ground loop thing right here. It just
Okay, so that's right. Never mind. You are correct. The gap is in the right place then, if that's the way it's hooked up.
Right.
The gap is in the right place on the left.
Right.
So this just goes right here. Now this does follow through on this third wire right here. So all the wires are crimped into this. There's no missing wire, so to speak. Other than this third one here just says
Right,
But
it's
it hasn't worked,
NC.
try it.
It's originally not connected, but fine. Put a ground there.
You might need to open up the keypad and see if maybe somebody modified it for a different keyboard layout. Maybe there's something.
I remember I remember taking the back off this thing here. I didn't do
Where the
anything.
hell? I saw a gap earlier when you were showing things, and I thought it was on the wrong side. And I don't know if it was inside of one of the connectors or.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that the gap. See how this ribbon cable right here, where they got it kind of separated a little bit more than they got the rest of them. And I wonder if that maybe made the illusion of a gap.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think it did.
Maybe, yeah.
But the only, like I said, I could,
Never mind. So that, yeah, the third one is NC. That's a ground here, so that all makes perfect sense.
Yep. So this had this going up here, and this is labeled ground right here.
Does the ground need to be attached?
No, it's not connected to anywhere, so it's a logical thing to just put a ground where it's not connected.
Right. So that would be the open one. So this should go in there like this. So this then basically we're left with this or this. So interesting. Well, I can try it out on a 2. Like I said, the computer that the person I got this from, it was a color computer 2 that they were working with. So I'd have to. I do got a couple of color computer 2s here, but I don't have any screen to hook up to them right now. So
we should Discord this because we can figure this out. I am a keyboard guy, so
right. Yeah, no, I agree.
let's take it out. Let's take it to Discord and fix it sometime.
Okay. Because you are getting characters, most of it's working. It's just something's in the wrong
right.
order.
Something's quite turned the other way.
There's a solution here.
There is one. We just haven't found it. We weren't going to find it in 5 minutes. So
it's a CoCo.
We'll take 10.
Yes, it's a.
I think we call
topic.
asparagus on that and go on to the next one.
Cool. I get to put an asparagus tag.
Oh, Eric Canal says maybe this cable is for a different revision of the keyboard. But I thought all the keyboards were compatible.
They're all the same.
The CoCo is the same, but the HJL Numberjack,
well, that's what we just need to trace out with the continuity tester.
Yep. And also probably could do it empirically by when you press the key, seeing what it gives you, and then figure out
where it is in the matrix exactly.
Yeah, what matrix it's hitting, and then going,
Oh yeah, that would be right in the service manual, no problem.
That looks like a Canadian CoCo 3 as well.
It is.
Oh yeah, coin proof.
Maybe that's the problem.
Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah, they forgot to convert it between metric and imperial.
It's to keep the beavers out.
Well, the Canadian
color.
CoCo has more
More A's in it, yeah.
Yeah, more A's.
Or said a badger.
But yeah, I should be able to get this here going though. But this definitely was the cable for it, because you can see the name, that name Touchstone was on the ad and everything too. So
right.
I don't know if I really have anything else to share with you guys. Let's see here. Let me look to take a quick gander. I have some software I could show, but we can save that for another time. So
I don't know. I think the show's running short, isn't it?
We're at 2 and 3/4 hours.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Oh, so we're still short.
We're only about halfway there.
Right.
So while I get stuff out in the subject keyboards, if you want to know what 15 keyboards weigh, the boards, it's 3.5 pounds.
Let's see here. Is there anything interesting in this box that I could share with you guys that might be of interest there? Oh, there's this one here and this. This might be kind of fun. What's down here? Oh yeah, here. This is a book that I thought was kind of 2 books that I found that were kind of interesting. I was going to get your guys' input on. Yeah, let me show these real quick here. I wanted to ask about this one here. Maybe this one might be one that Curtis has seen before. Let me switch my camera
storage
again.
unit a lot.
Yeah. Let's see here. Which one do I want? This. Okay. First of all, Donkey King. Tom Mix.
Yep, I have that exact same little orange manual on mine too.
Yep. So that was kind of I guess I just, I know some of this is all available on the archive and stuff like that, but it's still kind of neat to have the original packaging or there we go. The original media and the little manuals that came with it. There's this one here. Let me get out of the bag because the bag, this is not the original bag because I don't think Ziploc brand bags were there. Space Shuttle by Tom Mix.
Now it's got the later style labels too, where they have the little picture of the computer on it.
Yeah. So, but it says for the color computer and the TDP 100. So that was kind of a fun little one there. Is that the one that Did we play this here, or who did?
No.
Oh no, I think wasn't it Sibling Rivalry? Did they do this one on there?
They did the Atari 2600 version of Space Shuttle, I believe. Not.
Oh, did they?
The CoCo
Okay.
one,
Okay.
unless I'm remembering wrong.
Space Shuttle? Oh, okay.
Yep, Space Shuttle.
I remember.
Yeah, they had a
Moon
full page
Shuttle.
ad for that from Tom Mix back in early '83, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay, I was thinking like Space Shuttle for the Atari, which was a Activision title.
Yeah.
So here's one book I was going to show you guys here.
No,
TRS-80
I have not
Color
seen that one.
Color Computer Games Master.
Wait a minute. The
Uh,
guy who has the Color Computer Games website has never seen that book.
No, never even heard of it.
No.
That's a later type too, because it's got a CoCo 2 in the cover, not a CoCo 1.
There's Keith Brain and Stephen Brain. So I don't know if they're brothers.
Any relation to Jim?
Maybe. Maybe I should reach out and ask them. I haven't had a chance to really look through it too much to kind of
Who's the
see
publisher?
I did
Hayden?
What year is it?
yeah,
Hayden?
Yeah, Hayden. Yep, Hayden.
Yeah.
It's in really good shape too. 1983 was the publishing date on it. It just says here the main aim of this book is to teach you how to set about writing your own game programs for the TRS-80 color computer. It is not another list of old hat rehashes of usual games, but a structured approach to the design and construction of your own novel computer games. So
Now, does it teach basic programming, or is it a machine language programming, or a mixture of both? Or
it looks to be mostly basic from what I've just by flipping through the pages here. It looks like it's all basic. Yep.
Was that a dragon in there?
yeah, I kind of thought that too. The one graphic near the end of the book, I think.
No, we'll never see it again.
Right. I thought this was kind of an interesting.
The Dalek.
A Dalek.
Either an android figure that's sick with a thermometer in its mouth.
So, but anyway, there was that game there, or this book here, sorry. And then this is the one here, Curtis. I was curious if you'd seen this one here. This is actually a hardcover book. 6809.
I have seen it. I don't have it, but I have seen this one before, yes.
Okay. Now, this one I don't think is necessarily color computer specific. It's more processor specific. So,
yeah.
But,
It reminds me of the cover of the Rodney Zacks. Is that the guy who did one of the other guys that did the 69? But they had the same chip coming out at you thing.
Cybex is
the
published for
Zax
those.
one.
Is that Cybex? Is the publisher for this one?
you can't quite see it there. Borrow.
Borrow?
Granda. Granada Publishing. Sorry. Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Not very
Yeah,
good with the words there. So.
It does look like Cybex, though. That's
Actually, looking in the back there, it mentions the CoCo and the Dragon specifically, though.
Yep. At the heart of the Dragon, TRS-80 color computer, and other computer systems, the 6809 processor performs up to 1 million operations every second. The speed of the interpreted basic, however, is measured in mere hundreds of actions per second. Machine code is the only way the programmer, can harness the full power of the machine.
It mentions on the last paragraph there, it's actually got routines specifically for doing graphics on a Dragon.
Perhaps the most important for Dragon owners, the software is provided to put text on a high-resolution screen with a fully redefinable character set.
So that's not just a generic 609 book, then it actually is covering like the VDG and stuff.
Yep. Okay. Very good.
Any picture?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance. I had a chance to really look through this one too closely. Uh,
6-bit sound, yeah, that's definitely CoCo and Dragon oriented.
That's CoCo. Although that character set it just showed is different.
Well, I did say that one of the programs in there was a custom one, so.
All right. Yep.
There's something about some joysticks.
Yeah, Sam VDG. This is definitely oriented towards a CoCo and a Dragon specifically.
Gimmicks manufacturer, a 6809.
Yeah, Gimmicks is made the $7,000 689 base systems, the high end stuff. So it's covering the stuff other than the Coco and the Dragon, but it definitely seems to be more oriented towards those two.
Could they make a bigger stamp on there that it's discarded? Jeez, look at it.
Well, normally when they got discarded like this, they usually end up getting destroyed, I think.
Well, this was from a library.
Yep.
Sometimes libraries would sell the discarded.
Yeah, Friends of the Library sales.
Yeah. Here, depending, they'll do that or they'll tear the cover off first to indicate that it's supposed to be destroyed, and then it's supposed to be wrecked or returned to the publisher.
I think they do that in the for the stores.
Oh, right. Yeah, not the library. You're right.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Like TV guides that have the covers ripped off of them. They just have to send the covers back.
Paper hasn't faded any, has it?
No, it's in relatively good shape.
And the name of that library was Warwickshire or something? Is that in England? Or is that a place in the States somewhere? Oh, it's county, maybe. Okay.
Worcestershire.
The next page with the stamp.
County, it says county library.
Warwickshire sauce? I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. I'd rather have some A1.
You didn't see the date on that one?
I don't know. Warwickshire sauce is probably a little bit sweeter than Worcestershire sauce.
But no, I just
I
thought it
guess
was
we'll
kind
never know.
of a neat cover. I mean, there was the color of the manual or the front of the cover I thought was really cool. So anyway, that's all I got for you, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, where?
Alleged gentlemen?
Who are you allegedly addressing?
I took creative liberty, so
yes.
But thank you for letting me sneak in there and share a few things with you guys between family events today. So appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, some cool stuff in there for sure. That replacement power supply one was really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, and like I said, other than the Numberjack cable and these books and stuff like that, everything else was from the same lot there. So it was actually you guys remember the tables from like the 50s and 60s? They had that thick metal aluminum band that kind of wrapped around the table.
Yeah.
And the chairs were chrome. That's why the guy bought the storage unit. And there was some boxes under the table, and this stuff came from those boxes. So
I think it's cool how you pulled these things together that originally weren't even together. You know, like the fan and the CoCo that it went to, and that all should have by all rights just dissipated and went away.
Well, I mean, yeah,
keep it on, man. You know, keep
he
pulling
pulled out a
things
few things.
together.
Yeah, because he didn't know what he was looking at. He had no idea
Right.
what he was looking at. And,
I don't know if I would have recognized that. I mean, the Coco cooler I probably would have recognized, but the fact that those holes were part of that, I probably wouldn't have known.
Well,
Yeah,
and then for you to think to ask about, I'm just saying, you know, keep doing that because most
right.
of us wouldn't have put all that together and got those extra pieces of the puzzle.
Brian's a professional hoarder, though.
Well, yeah, but we need that. We need the guy with the space and the bucks to do the hoarding properly.
Is that he doesn't have a problem? He's a professional.
Yes, he's good at it. That's a whole different thing.
That's like the whole alcoholic thing. They aren't alcoholics; they're professionals.
Professional tasters.
Right? Maybe next time Mark B will play the
yeah, I'll
thing I
have to
made and make it look even more professional.
Yeah, I'll look for that again. I thought that was. I'll have to look at that again. Look for it.
By the way, Wayne Campbell says these need to be scanned.
Oh, the books?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna need one of those fancy. You don't have to break the back of the book to scan it. Scanners? Do you have
V-shaped
one?
scanner.
Or can we get you one? Or what is...
I have one.
Okay.
Oh,
well, I might have to work with you too. I do have one that's coming my way to use for a short while after the first of the year. And so I'll give that one a go and see how well it works. But if I have to return it before I get the opportunity to get them all done, Mark, maybe I'll.
By the way, Kieran in the chat is saying that Granado is actually is a publishing company in the UK, so that probably came from the UK.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I do have that Donkey King cassette. It's printed in blue and red dot matrix, but I don't have the book. I just have the cassette.
Yeah, I have the little booklet, and I have the newer style label. So it's a yellow one with the red text and the little picture of the computer. That's the version I've got, the original.
Yeah, this is just dot matrix printed, and then there's no label on the back at all. It's blank.
Yeah, well, when Atomics first started, like they were really like homebrew. Like it was all basic stuff. There wasn't any machine language, anything. So they grew rather fast, rather quickly, and spiced up. Then they had those plastic sleeve jackets with the discs and the manual on each side. And, they got quite professional later on.
Actually,
you're saying that
Grand Rapids, Michigan
is already on the Color Computer Archive.
Of what?
6809 machine code programming from David Barrow.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Hey, that's one thing you don't have to scan then.
Yep.
Sweet. But well, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. They used a lot of dot matrix, like on the CoCo cooler here that I was showing. That label, I mean, other than it being old, it's only just a real thin one, but it was printed on dot matrix as well, and so it, just that dot pattern just kind of makes it a little bit harder to see.
I think we could point out the Jason's label as being printed on the Star Micronics color dot matrix printer, because that was the one that was available at that time for a low budget company to print with.
Yeah, because the Epson FX80 or MX80 or whatever the first one was, I can't remember, came out.
That cost too much. Yeah, the Star printer was kind of cheap, and it did all the colors, and that is how that had to have been made.
It even has an address in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My lighting is terrible, I see. But yeah, it has a grand. I guess they were in Michigan, but Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, they were in Grand Rapids.
Donkey King printed in red, but.
And right now, if you were him, we would hear going in the background as you told us.
Oh yeah, it'd be like 3D printing now.
I had Panasonic.
I'm sorry, I missed the statement. What was the dual color printer that was used for that? Did somebody say?
Oh, the old Star Micronics color dot matrix printer was like the first really super cheap color dot matrix. And if you overstruck it, you could do really pretty cool graphics. Just print the same page.
Yeah, I only had the line printer 7.
Yeah, I had the CGP 220, the inkjet that Canon made and then Tandy sold, that also did color too, which was a lot quieter, but it was also a hell of a lot slower.
And that was actually made by Canon.
Yeah.
I had a Panasonic color printer that had the wide ribbon. And
the 3 colors, it's the 3 bands.
Oh yeah, they got really nice after a while, didn't they?
I've been looking for
my cousin here, Eugene, he had a Star Micronics color one too. I can't remember the model name of it off the top of my head for some stupid reason. But there was special print dump software you could buy for it, stuff for doing, full color graphic dumps of a game screen or something.
I'll tell you what you couldn't do with the color ribbon is put WD-40 on it because it'd bleed.
Oh yeah, all the colors would bleed together. Yeah, that wouldn't work so well, would it?
Only if you wanted a black or dark brown ribbon.
Which you had.
Well, I remember he used to swap out because if he's doing like a term report or something, he'd swap the black one because doing it in color, he had updated 3 times to do all the colors combined. It would just wasted the ink, so he just swapped the ribbon out and put in the black one, do his report, switch it back.
I like to do funky graphics, so at the end of the ribbon's life, it was more valuable because you could do overstrike printing without bleeding out the paper, so you could get multi-layers of different saturations of color by just printing the same image 7 times on the same page.
On my DMP 110, I used to use triplicate, carbon, and then you'd never run out of ink.
Oh, right. But no, you could get some really artsy stuff with some of this old print technology. Even a black and white printer, you could use a dry ribbon and print the page 4 times in different color saturations with filters, and you get a nice, multi. I'll show sometime. I've got some examples.
Cool.
Yeah, a
Well,
lot of
thanks,
time-
Ryan, for popping by and showing all us that. And I know you've got a lot of other stuff to show over the next couple months. So
Yep.
If you
More to
guys
come.
ever went dumpster diving, you could find the carbon paper, in a dumpster in a big box, brand new. People dumped it, or if they used it, they also could use only part of it and throw away the two other parts. And I got a lot of that back in the day.
Okay.
Free ink,
Ready for news?
Yep.
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC-10, and all of their hardware cousins, no matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCo Nation News with L Curtis Boyle.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, so Tier City Retro Programming put up a couple videos this week. One was going through and showing how his boot tape for Tales of Suburbia is going to work. And this is a multi-part basic game. We've covered it numerous times on the show before, but he's actually set it up for tape because that's what he had back in the day, which does make things a little bit complicated because you can wander between the different scenes that the different programs run. And then you have to remember where to rewind the tape to get the next part that you need, depending on how you go through things. So I suggest maybe you should make a disc version too. But you go check out his progress on there and kind of his little demonstration of how it works on his channel. And then he had another one here, which is rather interesting. We took a bit of a break. He's going weird CoCo errors. And I took a look at the 3 errors that he's actually getting here, and they're basically all based on keywords and the fact that BASIC will let you run a keyword and a variable name together. So if you use longer variable names, even though Microsoft BASIC on the CoCo only takes the first 2 characters, ignores everything past it. But some people will put in longer names. As long as the first 2 characters are unique, it'll work. Just to make the program a bit more descriptive, so they know that this variable is the xcvr or something like that. But he was hitting problems with was we're using some reserved basic keywords. Like he had one he wanted to call a variable note, so put note equals whatever, and it comes out as -1. Well, it's because it's trying to do not, and he's just superficial type thing. And he had a couple of those, so I responded to him. I know he's been having problems getting his comments be able to read, and I've had problems on mine too. Or, it'll say, yeah, you got 4 comments on your YouTube thing here, and I can only see 2 of them, so I don't know what's going on. I've hit that too. But yeah, if you want to see some interesting little quirks, and I think Alan Huffman on his basic series on his blog has probably covered some of this in the past before. But just be careful when you're doing these long variable names. It does make the code more readable, but make sure you don't choose ones that start with the same characters as a basic keyword, because it'll interpret it as a basic keyword and not what you're expecting, which is exactly what he hit. Next up, CoCo Town, and this is kind of funny how fast his channel has grown. Of course, he's been working on his series of getting the old Moon Patrol clone that he started as a teenager and getting it finished, and then he's switched over to fix bugs in MAME while he was at it. So this one here is kind of just of a reintroduction of his channel. He put this as a 1K sub bonus, so he had a 1,000 subscribers, and as of the beginning of the week when he posted this, he had 1,600 and some odd subscribers. Now he's over 1.84K already, so he gained another 200 in the last week alone. But he gives a bunch of shout outs to the CoCo Nation show and other people in the CoCo community near the end that have helped him on his journey. But basically, it's a big thank you for everybody joining in and kind of explaining what the channel is and what it does, etc. So if you guys are new to his stuff or have not had a chance to catch up on everything, you want a quick little summary, this is a perfect video for it. And I highly suggest you join his channel, especially if you want to learn assembly language programming on the CoCo specifically. And speaking of 609 assembly language, George Jansen's got lesson number 4. And this is writing to the high-res text screens on a CoCo 3. So this series he's doing right now is very CoCo 3 specific, which is good because we've got a ton of additional ones like Steve York and George's original series were all based on CoCo 1 and 2. And there's way more books on CoCo 1 and 2 programming, like the one Brian just showed, for example. There's not as many on the CoCo 3. There's the Teppold books, and then there's like Poke Peaks and Execs, and that's pretty well it. So the previous episodes of his series, he's been showing you how to do high-res text and attributes and things like that for underlying, changing the foreground, background colors, blinking, etc. But he's been doing it through basic ROM calls. So basically, you set up a string, you send it to basic and tell basic to print. Now he's showing you how to do it at the raw level, like how do you map in the actual high-res text screen, because it's normally outside of basics purvey. And then also how exactly the bytes on the screen work themselves. And then one little screenshot I'm showing here right now kind of shows you how the attribute byte works. Because every character on the screen, unless you tell the game, I don't want attributes at all, because you can shut them off, it's going to take 2 characters per byte. One's the actual, I shouldn't say ASCII, it's not quite ASCII, but the GIME's internal 128 character set. You just pick which one you want to display, whatever symbol that is. And then the other byte is the attribute byte. And here it actually explains, you've got your character and attribute basically alternating every second byte. So it's 2 bytes per character. And the attribute byte, all 8 bits are defined, 3 for the foreground color, 3 for the background color, 1 for blink, 1 for underline. So he goes into showing exactly how to do this stuff writing directly as opposed to going through the ROM calls. And he'll be extending on to that even further. And then he'll be getting into the actual graphic stuff.
If you got 1 byte off, boy, that would be spectacular.
Oh, yeah, I've done that. And as usual, if you go to his channel on our Discord, he does have the source code that you can download to save yourself a typing. Now, he recommends something, and I agree with this, is that you should at least try to type them in yourself because, A, it sticks in the human brain better. If you write something down or you type something in, it will stick better than just reading it. And that's just a proven fact. And it definitely, I can attest to that myself personally. But also, if you do some typing mistakes, you might learn more about how the code works by figuring out what your mistake was and figure out what the code was doing the way you typed it in versus what it's supposed to. And you kind of learn better from that too, because you can also start to recognize when a mistake happens and where to look. So I highly recommend that as well. So, but for those of you who don't have that much free time, and I understand quite a few people don't these days, that you can just download them examples, and you can change some of the parts of the source and try your own thing on it. But he goes through and he kind of comes up with this little like menu system. So we can find a screenshot of it here. So something like this. So he tells you how to do the attributes, how to locate on the screen, and then how to write it all out directly to the screen memory. And this one, I'm just going to shut up and mute this, and I'll let Henry explain what this video is about. Assuming he's still on the call and still awake. Oh, did he drop off?
That's right. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You wanted me to speak instead of that to speak. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Now, if you can sync your speech with the lips on your video here, that's
No,
I'm
I'm sorry.
really mess with people.
I was sitting here, I was watching my own wonderful videography there. Which actually, I hate to say it, but I really don't think it's that bad. No, all I'm doing here is I'm working on creating a D-pad. And the idea being that it's really simple electronically, to do this, because all you've got are, like it shows there, a couple of potentiometers, and the voltage reference is being pulled from the wiper of the potentiometers. So theoretically, all I need to do is take a couple of resistors and a couple of switches, pull off the middle, and if everything works according to plan, Bob's your uncle. I've got a D-pad with different axes. I've got a couple questions to ask, and they're like, wait a minute, which axis goes to what pin and what direction is what? And yeah, and some soldering montage and whatnot. So yeah, it's not going to finish in this one though. The next one, hopefully I'll finish it.
Yeah, I like how you covered your bases there and said part 1 of question mark. Now, is this something you did yourself back in the day as well, or is this something you decided to do just since you've been back into the CoCo stuff?
It's something that I wanted to do back when I was a kid, especially once I discovered that all it was some pots. I taught myself electronics when I was 12. So still had the CoCo around at the age of 12, had gotten that when I was like 6. So was looking at it, I just wanted to. And I never did get around to it as a kid. So yeah, just playing with it now.
Okay, so if people want to follow this ongoing project, they can go to The Break Key, is the name of your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your 3rd video, I think, now?
Yep, my 3rd video.
Did you start the channel? Just out of curiosity, I mean, we're going to have you on as a guest probably on January 20th here, barring any last minute changes in schedules for either of us. Do you have any other long-term plans of what you're going to be covering after the D-pad, or you just kind of wing it week to week?
Right now, I'm just winging it. I have ideas of what I want to do. I just haven't really put everything together yet. I've got a vacation from work coming up this week, so I'm going to spend some time seeing, what direction it's going to go. I'm tending more towards like raw hardware and low level stuff. These are areas that I didn't get to play around with when I was a kid. I taught myself the machine language, but never really dove into it. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, cool. So look forward to interviewing you on January 20th. I'll try to send you some questions ahead of time because there's a few standard ones we do, and then I usually, after talking with you a little bit or watching some of your videos, I'll kind of get some other questions there. But if you want to just fire me a private message in Discord, and I'll get your email, we can go back and forth, or just stay on the Discord.
Cool.
Give you some suggestions for questions, etc.
All right, awesome.
And by the way, welcome to the show. This is your first time on the actual show. You've been on the Game On Challenge a couple times, but
yeah, this is my first time on since CoCo Nation. Several years ago, I was on with Stevie when it was CoCo Talk.
Oh, I forgot about that. You didn't have a Wii channel back then, or did you have a different one?
No, I just started it.
Okay.
I've been threatening myself to do that for a while, so.
Okay. Next up, Simon Jonason has got a couple of updates that he posted this week on his online graphics editor. This is the web-based graphics editor that covers all the CoCo 1 and 2 and Dragon P-mode style modes. And he's been adding more and more to it as he goes. So here he's working on aspect ratios because some of the modes have, twice as many pixels going across as they do vertically ratio-wise than, on the physical same size screen. So say P mode 4, you have 256 pixels across. P mode 3, you have 128. And the vertical res between those two is exactly the same. So if you want a circle, if you don't adjust for that ratio, then it's going to draw an oval instead. So he's actually just showing here, and you can see he's clicked the little circle thing. He's got a filled circle option there as well. And, drawing it, you drag out the size of the shape that you want to do. And then a little bit earlier on, he was showing a little bit of a video here where he's showing a little bit of the tool selections and then, kind of the drag and draw style of thing as well. But basically in this case, he's also showing the eyedropper tool, which will basically identify, what color you get the pixel or the mouse cursor over. And it handles the 2 and the 4 color modes as we've covered before here. And if you click on the foreground background colors, you can actually, it does a little drop box showing you the colors you can pick from in the current graphics mode you're in and which color set you're in. So good progress being made in that. And the nice thing is you can load in your own images, from your local drive, or you can create them on the website and then save them on your local drive. And then you can import them onto an actual CoCo and stuff. So you can actually have a modern graphics tool basically to do all your drawing.
Paint Shop CoCo.
And then next up, we got a few updates from Thomas Cherry, who was working on porting the FujiNet to the CoCo. So this one in particular here is showing the Wi-Fi selection screen, which is giving the MAC address and a few other things here. And then, kind of going through some of the other details of how it's all set up. And then another version he did here is a bit of a video. And this one shows his user interface design, which he said is rather challenging to cram it onto a 32-column screen. But basically the ColecoVision had the same issue. So, and of course, if it goes to the CoCo 3, you'll have options for 40 and 80 column. So here he's showing us host slots. I'm just mentioning this for the audio listeners. And then you picked a particular server, and then you can pick the files that are available on that server. And he's using some, Errata Online and Fujinet.com, etc. Oh, muted here. I don't think he's got any speech in here, so.
No, just his wife and kids in the background.
Just like the rest of us with cats.
Yeah.
Meow. So he's got a little a menu on the bottom that adapts to what you're doing, and obviously you can't fit too much in a 32x16 screen, but I think he's done a really good job fitting stuff as it is because URLs can get pretty long. And then the other one he had, and this is the one he just posted recently in the last day, a show info config screen, which shows the current FujiNet adapter configuration. which gives you a bit more information like your IP address, your net mask and DNS server, and et cetera, et cetera. So this will be good for debugging and stuff, and also to set up if you want to switch between networks, et cetera. So a lot of progress in short time for that, which is cool because he originally wanted to get the CoCo version of this project because he's done it before on the Atari 8-bits and a bunch of others, years ago, and then nobody really, came up to help him. So he just said, screw it, I'm doing it myself. And he's made a lot of progress in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So thumbs up to Tom. And then we got a couple updates here from Julian Brown on his Dragon stuff. So the first one here is a picture and an update on his PAL daughter board. There's still a few things to work out. I'll just read his thing here on the Dragon Group of Facebook because some of our audio listeners will be seeing this. He says, slight technical hitch. I forgot that the new main board has the relay moved to the left for clearance. Not so much here. Easily fixed, though. The PAL board, over twice the size of the NTSC board, just to add some extra lines in the frame. And somehow through my upscaler is seeing NTSC timing, not good, but with the modulator removed, how stunningly clear and crisp is the video signal. So other than the pictures of the little daughter board itself, you can see here, it's only coming out as black and white, but it's a nice clear signal. If you want to do some word processing on a Dragon, maybe don't go any further than this. Fire up Telewriter or VIP or, some of the other Dragon-based ones. I don't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but nice, clean signal. And then we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier on the show here. He says, I couldn't resist a tiny bit more tinkering, pretty much complete now with the optional serial, single, or dual AY sound chip. So this is his Dragon 32 replication version 3 motherboard. And this is where he starts using more modern parts. You can see how empty the board has got compared to the regular Dragon board. But as he mentions here, it's got the optional serial port. So you can actually add a hardware serial port like the Dragon 64 had. Or the R32 pack and the CoCo would have added. But he's also got the option for single or dual AY sound chips on this board as well. So you can do 3 voice on each chip plus a noise channel, or you can combine the two and actually get 6 voice channels and 2 noise generators. I don't know if he has the option or if it's set up that one goes to the left speaker and one goes to right, or if that's just all combined into one single one. But technically, if he has it, set up right, or even has some way of programmatically combining the two onto a single mono output signal, or if he lets you split them on left and right, you could do stereo on this. So I'll have to ask him about that. I don't know if he's in the chat today. I didn't get a chance to check. But I'll just show you a little bit of a zoom up of the board here. But you can see how much empty space is compared to the old, because now he's using more modern RAM. And basically the only older chips left are the 6809, which can be a 609 as well type thing. But you'll see a lot of square chips here, not so many rectangular ones. That's my hardware expertise coming through on those descriptions there. But looking forward. Go ahead.
Don't forget the dooflinky and the whatchamacallit. Yeah.
But this is kind of what we were hinting at earlier, talking with Bob and talking about Pedro's board for the CoCo 3, where he does have some plans to take this above and beyond what the CoCo 3 did, and that's what Julian is now doing, because he basically got the replicate motherboard working, and now he's adding features that weren't standard on the Dragon 32, 256K RAM support on the special SAM replacement that Karen's been working on, adding in the dual AY sound chips that weren't on any of the Dragons originally, and the only place in the CoCo world that ever showed up as a default was the deluxe CoCo, which never got released. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see where he's taking it. I'm really looking forward to see what Pedro's going to take on the CoCo 3. And that's all the news we have this week. It's a bit of a shorter one. I think people are getting ready for the holidays, except for Jim Gary, who cranked out 5 games in 5 days.
The news is over already?
He's a Cylon.
Yep. I will mention, I'm apparently, I should mention the Trash Talk live podcast is tonight in 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if anybody wants to do that, that's going to be their year wrap-up one. I might pop onto that one myself. If the panel's too filled with people, I probably won't, because they try to keep their show short to 2 hours. So, yeah.
2 hours.
So do we.
How can anyone do a 2-hour show?
I have no idea. It's impossible. And then tomorrow, I just found out I've been invited. I guess Retro Computer Roundup, which I was literally just on a week ago, is actually doing kind of a year-end thing where they're having, inviting all the guests to come by for a bit of a pop by. So they've invited me to pop on it again. I don't know if it's just going to be kind of a reminiscing of how the year went. or if it's going to be, getting details from people on certain things or not. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. That's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube.
Are we going to have a year-end show that does that?
Ron first, then David.
Are we going to have a year-end show that does that? That goes over the year, how
Well,
we
the
did
person
it?
that used to do that for us unfortunately passed away. So
Who was that?
that was Joyce, Brian Joyce from Australia.
Oh.
Because he did a few of those some reason, then he passed away. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember now.
Brian Joyce, just months ago.
A few months ago, he passed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sad.
he did episode 200 for us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Nick's website was actually hosted on Brian's thing. So once Brian passed away, Nick had to reorganize and get everything set up again. So I wouldn't mind doing that, but that's a lot of work to pour through. 4 hours a week minimum.
Well, we could probably just reminisce about it for a section of the show.
Well, I think we do that
year.
anyway. Like the first New Year one, we'll kind of reminisce the previous year. Maybe even have a game on challenge type thing. We can reminisce the previous year too. But yeah, he did these nice, packaged ones where he went through and picked clips from all the best stuff we did.
Yeah,
And,
like my cat.
that's a
barfing.
lot of work.
Didn't you just? I look like you just tossed the cat a few minutes ago. There,
I did. I just kind of toss him on he goes on the bed. She goes on the bed over there.
Cats are quite okay with being tossed if you toss them correctly.
They land on their feet if you toss them right.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing about. I just saw the cat whoop. I'm like,
yeah, don't go for the full football throw. They don't like that.
No,
don't do that.
You don't get a proper spin on them.
Well, she's landed on a heating pad.
Oh.
So, because she's either on that.
Yeah, happy now.
You want to zoom that up there, Mark, just so you see what everybody's laughing about.
That's great.
Oh God, I need a copy of that.
I've seen that.
The official I Hate Cats book, and it's got a guy who's got a huge slingshot shot with a cat aimed straight at a brick wall.
Oh, that's
cruel. Little cruel.
I like the one where they have the screw-on attachment that you tighten on the back end.
Wow.
I've not heard of that book before.
Yep.
I am. It's a category.
Category.
I am very anti-cat in a slingshot. I just want to make that statement now.
Yeah, this is this an older book, Kevin? I'm imagining this is probably a little too politically incorrect nowadays.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Would not recommend doing that.
It looks kind of Far-Side-ish almost. Is that
Yeah,
Larson?
that's what I was thinking.
I've had
No,
this
it's a different person on the cover. So
from 1980.
Yeah, this is what adults did in the 80s. So
that's when the CoCo one came out.
Yep.
Cool.
James Jones in the chat says, use a trebuchet.
Get the back action.
Monty Python did that with cows, so why not? So I think we should do a quick check-in with Bob Emery. How are things going on your end?
Yeah, we didn't. We were a little short there for you.
Well, the smoke must have cleared.
It's like I don't see the fire department.
All right, is my
yeah, we can hear you.
Last time you ran out of solder, didn't you?
Last time I ran out of solder. I'm pretty close this time again, actually.
That's why I buy the big
Yeah, you need the big pound roll with the spool thing. So
I buy the big spools.
Wait, he can just go to Radio Shack and get another one.
I like your sibling rivalry shirt too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Buy a few rolls, put them in a chip fryer, and dunk the whole board in there in the molten solder.
That's not quite how a solder wave works, but
deep fried solder,
table,
Texas style.
It can work.
Yeah, just starting on the resistors here and making progress.
Yeah,
looks like a board when you have all the sockets in.
Looks irresistible.
Yeah, the Radio Shack website.
Futile.
Are you planning on live streaming on your channel at some point there, Bob, too? Maybe when you're getting near the end, or
yeah, maybe so. I'll probably I don't know. Maybe I'll do some tomorrow. I'm not very organized about that.
Right.
That fits right in with this show.
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious if this latest revision of the board with those traces that are changed to more match the original CoCo 3, if that's going to solve the Gimme X problem.
Yeah,
That would be interesting. Yeah,
Well,
because
the other
it's
thing I was wondering about is after you build this and you're done, are you going to put it in a PC case or something?
Yeah, I've been thinking about a case too. I kind of got some ideas, but I'm not gonna go out on a limb just yet to say what is gonna happen or isn't.
Yeah. Plus, when you first joined us, I mean, when you dug out your old CoCo, it wasn't a PC case, wasn't it?
Yeah, I still have that one. The motherboard is basically still out of it. That case is kind of empty. I'm debating if I want to go back into that huge case or into a smaller one, or
Well, if you
maybe
want to build
something
one of those
completely
16
different.
slot multi packs for David Ladd there, you might need the big case. So
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you'll get a case that you want to use and it's yellowed. Then what?
Either
hydrogen peroxide.
Sunbright or spray paint. The old Krylon overhaul.
Aha.
By the way, Rocky Hill is in the chat right now, and he says, hello again. That would be interesting if it did solve the issue, but I'm not sure that that is the issue concerning the traces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halfway wondering if I could send the board to Gary and have them test it. The people who know how the thing works, you know?
Oh, Gary Becker.
Gary and
Yeah.
Ed. Or Ed.
How many of these have you built in your sleep?
In my sleep? I don't know. I lost count.
He's sleeping. He doesn't remember.
I find that I leave more solder bridges in my sleep.
I should mention too, it was posted in our Discord this past week that the Mega Mini MPI made an appearance on Ed's site. There was some finished units again. Some people received some orders. So Ed's starting to spread out what he's, circling around and getting output.
Yeah, I periodically look at the site. I should probably just try and order something to see if it'll show up.
Ed's
can
a
I
good guy.
hop in a sec? The differences in the motherboard on a 2 megahertz machine don't theoretically make a difference, but when you have a multi-megahertz machine emulating 2 megahertz in the gimme socket, maybe it does.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's worth the test. I appreciate you building all of this to see, because that will tell us something.
Well,
and
I'm not just building these to test that.
Well, I'm
building
sure of
it 'cause
that,
it's
but
fun.
just because it's a mountain, it's got to be climbed.
We'll do some science. We'll do some science while we're there. Yeah.
And Bob, if you do decide to stream doing some of this tomorrow, if you want to maybe announce it in the general channel or something, maybe a hour or two early, just so that people have time to gather up and join you in the chat.
Absolutely.
I won't, because I don't understand hardware, so I'd just be sitting there like a moron.
I will say
Not much
that,
different than me doing the news, actually.
Yeah. You can actually see the difference in the traces on the boards. I don't know if it'll show up on camera here. Or if I can even lift this board up out of the...
Rocky also said here, I'm leaning more towards tuning the variable cap, but it's definitely worth the test.
Yeah, I would like to see some sort of a procedure on how to tune that. So like especially right here in this area next to the chip, I've got like a couple of traces going diagonally and a few vias going this way. Nothing at all going vertically here. But on this board, and I know you probably can't even see these, but all the traces on this, if you compare it to a official Tandy motherboard, this looks, all the north-south traces as opposed to east-west. Kind of just makes it look more official.
It doesn't even matter what's right, it's what it used to be. So if you're really splitting hairs, maybe.
Who knows? Yeah.
All right.
I just look forward to playing on another brand new color computer.
Hey.
Get some
I'm with ya.
Neutroid and Jumping Joey.
I can
There you
absolutely
go.
use it like the
There's a
old
man who
days.
knows. There's a man who
Ken
knows. what he's
obviously
talking about.
cleared.
There's a man who knows who's signing his checks.
Yes.
I get paid in Vegemite.
You're on the free beta program for Nick's next game now.
Oh no, beta.
I'm waiting for the upgraded board, the one with 2 meg built in on the
And sound-
motherboard and no
Yes,
RF
sound
modulator and a Gimme X.
USB.
Bob, you must not be married.
Wow, that would be cool, but I reckon 2 meg of RAM
No,
on
no,
your
no.
standard,
Yeah,
no RF modulator, and a Gimme X and a 6309.
Yeah.
As a standard board.
Right.
That'd be a
Not
great,
an upgrade.
whatever you want to call it, CoCo 3 Plus, 3B.
Yeah, you could probably
Actually, with
call
the
it-
Gimme X, it's almost a CoCo 4 because with the extra
It
video
is.
modes, extra
Don't
speed,
use
you're getting
the
close.
F word.
The CoCo IV, then, is that better? Well, this Bob's doing that. I was going to ask Ken. I don't think Sloopy's here anymore, is he?
No, I think
No, I don't think so.
What? I'm awake.
Liar.
More coffee.
I was just wondering, like, with going with this, surprise last minute change to doing all Frogger games, do you have a favorite out of the ones you've tried so far that you could maybe recommend people to start with?
$50 is coming, Ken.
Jumping Joey, obviously.
There you go.
Problem is that's Australian money, so that's
50 cents,
$10.
I think Australian money's worth a lot more than Canadian money. So
No, it's less. It's less.
Is it
No,
less?
it's less.
Yes.
At the moment, yeah.
They're usually
I thought
about 5 to
everything
10
was
cents
more
lower
than
than us. And actually, the Canadian dollar's gone up over a cent in the last few days. So
Oh, geez, yeah, I just sold something and it was like $90. But yeah, it was to Australia.
Nick, have you thought of bringing the Frogger down from the top since you're upside down there?
Frog invaders.
there's a lost opportunity, Nick.
Yeah.
No, Ken, like I know you played some of the Frogger games we have. I don't know if you've played all of the,
Oh, I
10 or
haven't
so.
played nearly all of them.
But do you have a favorite of the ones you played so far, just out of curiosity?
An honest answer now.
I liked Froggy.
The Spectral one that supported the speech sound pack?
Yeah.
I'd have to
thought
say
that one was
overall,
really
that's
good.
probably is the closest, their best one
Yeah.
myself too.
What does it actually have? A frog's smash on it?
I've never
I'm a
played it
little-
with the speech and sound pack, so I have no idea what that does. But
I think it just talks, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Player 1 or whatever it says.
We got
I think
you.
if it's a speech sound pack, it says "Wah, wah, wah."
So the frog is the one where, wow.
well, anyway, of any of them,
We
the
were,
Frog was
yeah.
originally
Frog
gonna
is
be
the
one.
visually the best one. And I'd actually say it actually looks better than Jumpin' Joey visually because you used a lower res mode. But the sound is terrible and the controls are worse.
Right.
Jumping Joey's like good to great on graphic, sound, and gameplay.
I don't think I've ever seen the frog.
It would look like crap in Australia or England with the PAL because there's so much artifact color and there would just be a bunch of
Yeah, well,
stripes
it's an
running around.
artifact game, yeah.
You just have to use your NTSC CoCo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
it does
do,
look
yeah.
good. Like the logs roll in the water. I don't know of any other versions really, except for maybe more modern ones that do that. Like the arcade game didn't even do that. The cars have windshield wipers going and exhaust going out of the back, and it's very, very well done. It's got the later stages too, like it's got the snake and the gators and everything else too. So
Kevin looks like an alien.
And he looks like he's in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. The frog, huh? Okay.
yeah, Atomic Software,
Wow.
1983. Came out the same time as Trapfall, if I remember, pretty close to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I did the upside down picture gag years ago. That's
Are we ready to put a fork in this one?
Yes, we are.
Fork,
Okay,
yeah.
eat before I go on this other show if I do end up going on.
This program is forked.
This concludes another episode of the CoCo Nation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things the CoCo Nation, Visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCo Nation Show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCo Nation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCo Nation is over. Join us on the CoCo Discord server. CoCo forever.
We are back.
I thought we just
Okay.
left.
Well, that was the
Where'd
finish of
we
the outro.
go?
So remember, no show next week. So we look forward to seeing you on December 30th.
So that
2 o'clock
means
Eastern time.
the show next week will be our best one of the year since it won't be.
Yeah, that'll be our
Probably,
top highlight
yeah.
reel. Actually, the whole that actual show next week will be the top highlight reel because there'll be nothing on it.
Exactly.
And then the week after that, of course, is our interview with Doug Masten and Glen Dahlgren about the Contras. So join us for that as well.
Ooh, I'm interested to hear that one because that's a whole
Yeah, there's a bit of
whole
a
thing, isn't?
There's a bit of a background story to talk about on that one for sure.
Yeah, because I think that was started by one person and finished by the other, and I think it was still a little buggy, if I remember correctly. So
The two players a little bit buggy up.
Yeah, so I'm interested to hear that one.
Yeah, Glenn will have to provide some of that detail because Doug was out of it by the time that all happened. So,
Okay. Well,
and then Bob can give us an update on his board and whether that actually happened.
See if his solder has arrived.
So we have one more show before the new year.
Yep.
Just.
Just.
Where's my button?
Push the button, Frank.
So goodbye,
See you next
everybody.
week.
Merry
Come
Christmas.
on. Sorry, see you in 2 weeks. Sorry, I just-
everyone.
Happy
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Festive.